I was built for this. There's more single black mothers than any other race in America.
True.
That's what I know. And I hate that because what do we get taught? Yes, and they wanted a black woman.
Also,
Lauren.
Freeze. Wait.
Can I just tell my story?
Any other you can.
So you two are sisters, obviously.
Yes.
So now we're sisters.
Okay.
So growing up in Canada.
Trying to take it seriously.
Okay, and you said you're married.
Yeah.
I'm not.
What did she say?
Would you not date a guy because he has an Android phone?
Green bubbles.
Green bubbles.
I hate the green bubbles.
I was Android and I switched over to Apple. I hate it, but I'm Apple.
So guys, go out there, update your dating profiles.
Because they didn't know any better because they don't know what black people look like.
That is not true.
Listen. This is real life happening here. I'm just telling the truth. I mean, it's easy when it's true.
Keep going.
Most beautiful people don't know how to work hard.
It's true.
But oddly enough,
Well, we're honored to have both of you here. Welcome back to the Content Parlor. I'm your host, Chardell. We're here with guests today on the show, but before we get to them, I want to introduce our co-host. Welcome back.
Yes.
You look
thank
great.
You. Yes, thanks.
Hair is different.
Very, very. We're doing fall, winter, brown this season. Okay.
Yeah. It looks good. I like it. Very fashionable. We have a very special episode today. We are talking about relationships. This is going to be a very interesting show. We were doing some conversation behind the scenes just a second ago, and you guys are in for a real treat. But before we get to them, let's just do some quick housekeeping. Make sure you go out and follow the Content Parlor on all the social networks. We're at Content Parlor. And as far as the latest and greatest updates, you're going to find that on YouTube. Hit the bell notification for the latest updates and the full episodes. That's where you find the full episodes. We don't do the full episodes anywhere else because you guys will go cherry pick it. So we're doing them only on YouTube for now. You get the goodies on the other platforms. All right. Content Parlor is a social club for content creators. We're working on some big things for 2025, including a conference for content creators. We piloted that a couple of weeks ago with Coffee and Creatives. Fantastic turnout. I think that was his best turnout so far.
So far.
It was almost 100 people there, so that's super awesome. There's some silent applause going on right now. I can't show you yet. But without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce our guest to the show. Hello, let's start over here. I think I know your face.
Hello.
What's your name and what do you do for a living?
Oh, my name is Lauren Keith. That part was easy. But what I do for a living, first and foremost, my favorite title is wife and mother.
Okay.
Then I guess after that, I'm an accountant by trade, but entrepreneur, business owner, and just, disciple. Just get out there and
I like that.
And spreading the gospel. So I get to use my life as a parallel to help others become better, and mentally, physically, spiritually, financially. I'm blessed by the best. Smart enough to
Love
know.
it.
come on.
I love it. And I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm catching like some twin type of vibes, but
That's my twin.
you look familiar. I think I've seen you on social media before. Can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Yes, hello. My name is Sarah Fontenot, and I am a podcaster, a director, an actress, an international speaker, investor, serial entrepreneur, semi-retired. Honestly, I just kind of get to do what I want to do at this point. My introduction is nowhere near as cool as yours.
Oh, no.
I was literally like, whoa, hold up, leave me something. Leave something for me. But I'm really honored and grateful to be here with you guys today. I love what you guys are doing, what you're creating, and the access that you're giving and the opportunities that you're making for others, which is amazing. And I couldn't be more honored to do it with my sister. Really, she's my big sister. And, it's crazy because she's like wife and mother first, and I'm like, she's sister first. This is my sister.
That's absolutely true.
Yes,
I definitely sister first.
I'm so grateful because Lauren is one of the most incredible, hardworking, selfless, generous people on the planet. And so the way that you guys came in contact brought me here today, and I'm just excited to be here.
Lay it on thick.
I'm just telling the truth. I mean, it's easy when it's true.
Keep going.
Well, we're honored to have both of you here. Thank you for being on the show. It obviously helps us out a lot, so we appreciate it. So you two are sisters, obviously.
Yes.
But different last names. So you said you're married.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Fontenot, did I say that right?
Fontenot. It's our dad's last name.
Our dad's last name.
Okay. So was that your maiden name as well, or is this like a social media?
No, so I'm a Brown Fontenot, and now she just is a Keith.
Yeah.
She got married and
I chopped the last name. Like, I mean, my legacy is like, I'm tied to him. What does that say?
Right. You left the home.
Yeah, I left the home. And
you left the nest.
I left the nest. So now I'm a bird called by a different name.
Yeah,
so
and I'm still in the nest.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that a little bit as we're talking about relationships today.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So so Brown Fontenot. So I did a little bit of research on you. You chose this name as part of your social media brand. Can you talk a little bit about just why you focused on that name as opposed to Brown? Because obviously Brown is a lot easier to pronounce.
Yeah, well, it's funny when we're from Canada, from Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, and yes, I said it right, Regina. Okay,
the city that rhymes with fun.
Yeah, that's what they say.
It's a rock radio station. I didn't make that up.
Yes, and so when I moved to America, I moved here to pursue acting at 20 years old by myself. I'm a cliche, and when I got into it, I was like, I really went by more Sarah Brown than Sarah Fontenot, and they had said that a Sarah Brown is already in the industry, so you have to choose a different name. And I was like, oh, I'm going to be Sarah Sanders. Do you hear the alliteration? It is so cute. It is easy to remember. And I told my mom, and my mom was like, first of all, your dad would be so upset if you did not just go by Fontenot. You know what I mean? Instead of being Sarah Christine Pamela Brown Fontenot, just be Sarah Fontenot. Yeah. And so that's really how that came to be. And oddly enough, even though it is harder to pronounce, sometimes people say Fontenot, Yeah. I feel like it's like I am my father's daughter. Yeah. And now when I am married, I'll probably hyphenate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because now it's famous. So
yeah, that part.
Right.
I wouldn't say famous.
Well, we see that we're speaking it into existence.
I received that. I definitely received that.
Awesome. So just for the audience, where can people find you on social media if they want to connect after this?
Facebook is the best place to find me, honestly. Just first and last name, Lauren, last name Keith, Keith. Yes, it defies English, okay? They say I before E, not when you're spelling Keith, okay? So Keith, or on Instagram, it's Lauren Ariel 2, like the mermaid, and that's not like the mermaid, but like my middle name. Essentially, so Lauren Ariel 2 on Insta and Lauren Keith on Facebook. I'm far more communicative on Facebook and far more active on Facebook than I am on Instagram, but your girl's learning, so just like keep me on both. Someone's like, you got TikTok? What? I don't tick or talk. Just Instagram and Facebook. Yeah.
And you just released a new podcast.
Oh yeah, on YouTube. Sis, take my hand. So you can come and have evolutionary conversations just based on becoming better. Like, would you like to become a better human being? You can check us out on YouTube. I actually have 3 episodes out. I'm just gonna
watch out.
Touch my shoulder off right there.
Nice.
But I just feel like that's a testament to everybody has to start somewhere. Just like my sister's podcast, it's giving, and now she's all over everywhere. Everybody's everything. But it's crazy that you guys are only like a year old, and she's got over 50,000 followers, and she's being asked to guest star all over the place. I know she doesn't like to name drop or do any of that, but like she's been on Nick Cannon show, Cam Newton show, Shannon Sharp show, like that she's really being seen. And what I really love about it is just a testament to her hard work. She's always been a hard worker. She always is, thinks outside of the box. She'd be like one of those fish flowing against the flow in the sense that I really admire that she goes after what she wants and she doesn't settle for mediocrity and she doesn't go based off of what society says or what people say she should be or do or have. She's like, you know what, I'm going to be, do, and have whatever I create. And it's always magic what you create. So I'm super proud of you.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Love that. It's better for her to say it so you don't have to hype
This is a
yourself
warm
up.
hug, you know? That's a hug on this couch. Yes, but that you can find me at It's Giving podcast. My personal page is Ms. Sarah Fontenot, so MSSarahFontenot. That's also our website, Ms. Sarah Fontenot. You can literally find us across all of the platforms, Ms. Sarah Fontenot, or It's Giving podcast.
Love it.
Yeah.
Interesting. And was that intentional? Because I don't think there's another It's Giving podcast.
No.
Or was that taken? Or
No, well, first, it's funny how we even found the name.
Yeah.
This is the third podcast that I've done.
Oh, wow.
I did a podcast with a
sorry.
gentleman, and we just had different visions and could not get it together. And so I was like, okay, well,
And we could not get it together. Okay, I'll just leave it right there. Just like,
we couldn't. And then from that podcast, I was like, well, let me work with these women. They were kept asking me, will you do this podcast with us? Will you do this podcast? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. I love the idea of podcasting. I never even thought I'd be a podcaster. I didn't think that was a thing. I didn't think you could make money. I didn't know that you could really do this podcast thing. I didn't know it was a business. And long story short, I realized that with those two women, we had different visions. So we had to go in different ways as well. Realistically speaking, it's just one of the things that I've learned from doing business with anyone is figure out what you want to do first, because sometimes you love someone so much, or like you love their energy so much, and you're so excited about starting the thing that you don't necessarily dot your I's or cross your T's. And so we didn't really do that, and we wanted completely different things. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to show up for me regardless of what's going on. And I was terrified to do it, to start my own podcast, because I was like, will anyone want to hear what I have to say? It was complete imposter syndrome for me. And I remember calling my sister and saying, I want to start a podcast and I don't know what to call it. And I was on uspto.com, because you want to trademark anything that you do in business. And I wanted to call it All the Things.
yeah.
Because I literally say that all the time. Oh, what are you doing? All the things. Or how are things? Oh, it's all the things. I say it all the time, but it was already taken. So I was like, I don't even know what I would call it. And Lauren's husband,
Yes.
shout out to you, Kent
out,
and
Ken.
Keith.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Lauren's husband was like, why don't you call it It's Giving? And I was like, oh.
oh,
And so then I said, I was like, that's really interesting. And he's like, you and your sister, you guys are such givers. Like, it's giving, it's trending. And at first, I don't know if he was joking or serious, but I went to uspto.com to check for the trademark, and it was available. And I was like, oh my God, this is my podcast. And literally like that, we had our trademark filed. We had all of the things done. We had the logo, the this, the that, the photo shoot. We were ready, and it was like 3 weeks later that we launched.
It's your logo.
Oh yeah, this is my logo.
oh, is
How
it?
cool.
It's
Yeah.
just a diamond-studded platinum chain. No big deal.
Okay, go ahead and flex. then. All right.
Of a microphone.
It's a
and
microphone
wings.
with wings, because
Yeah.
we soar.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I see it now.
Yeah. So it's been a beautiful blessing. And again, I never thought I'd be an entrepreneur. I slipped and fell into it. And sometimes you'll realize what you're really good at, because people are constantly asking you, like, how do you do this? How did you do that? How did you do this?
Yeah.
Like Lauren, I'm always asking her. She's a word connoisseur and an incredible storyteller. And she has the ability to enroll anyone into anything. Like, she can temporarily inspire you to do anything. Like, whether you fully commit or not, no. Fully commit, I don't know. That's on you. That's a you thing. But like, temporarily, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
So it's really a beautiful thing. And so that's something I've definitely learned from you inside of our lives and our family, and just the experience. And now it's giving. That's it's giving growth. It's giving blessed. It's giving joy. It's giving in purpose, on purpose. It's giving intentional, and it's giving, we won't stop.
Yeah.
Some free game there for all the content creators out there too.
Yeah.
Get your trademark, get your paperwork right.
Yes.
So that you can go with unrestricted. You
Yeah,
can go
protect
and
your
move freely.
brand.
Yeah.
That part.
Yes.
Out of the words of Sarah Fontenot, whenever you have a big dream and you have a goal and you've decided to go after it, you write the big goal, then you reverse engineer that thing all the way down to check the website, trademark it, and then work your way back up. Because I feel like it's really powerful in the sense that only you can see your vision. And like if I tell you, oh, I saw this beautiful sunset and I could try to describe it to you, but when you can see it so clearly that it's vivid, it's your thing, it's your vision, so you know where your thing is going to go. And I've always admired my sister for being able to paint that picture, that she says I can enroll anyone in anything, but she's the one who's creating what's being enrolled to. And I've always admired that about her, just her gumption, her tenacity, her never giving up, her determination, her dedication. And it's like, no, I'm going to make you see this sunset, okay? If I have to paint it myself, okay? Get the paintbrush. No, a little to the left, a little to the right. No, more pink, a little bit of orange, a little bit of orange, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of yellow.
Right.
And so, like, will really help you see the vision before it. And so I think that's really cool that, yeah, maybe I could be like, hey, come see this picture. But it's like, she paints the picture. She starts with a picture. So just an incredible way of taking a canvas that's nothing and creating something from nothing, essentially.
Thank you.
That's
beautiful.
A superpower, for sure.
Just got to do it.
I'm really proud of both of you. So who's the older sister?
Yes.
I'm gonna say Lauren.
Yes.
Yeah. I did say big sister.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, did he hear me say
Not
that
by a
already?
lot. We're only a couple years apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, it's got to be close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one ever guesses she's older than me, though.
That's
Yeah, because that's why I had to ask again, because
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, but you know what? I
Remember
think
so.
it's because I went into entrepreneurship first.
true.
So-
The crazy thing about entrepreneurship is, I told her even in that, this was, like 15 years ago. So
Yeah.
people weren't entrepreneurs 15 years ago. 15 years
We
ago,
weren't entrepreneurs.
we definitely were not entrepreneurs 15 years ago. It was very, get a job, work till you're 65,
Yes.
pay into your 401k.
Yes.
And hopefully you saved up enough money that you don't have to eat cat food when you're 67 and a half.
Yeah.
And that was just like the enrollment, right? And it's so sad, like what we were enrolled in, not so much this generation, like what is it, Gen Z or Gen X, or I don't know what
I think we're millennials.
Yeah, the millennials. They are like, don't even go to school, like just start selling straws, and if you sell enough straws, you'll have enough money, and if you have enough money, you don't
Save
need an
the
education,
turtles.
right? It's
Okay, save
like,
the
wait,
turtles.
what? Okay.
Let's move over here.
But there's that, but it's just like what we're enrolled in as children is like, as small children, we're told, go to school, get an education, get a job, work till you die. That's the subscription, which is crazy that it's indoctrinated into us that that's what you do.
Yeah.
And so some 15 years ago, when Sarah said entrepreneurship, it's actually pretty funny. I'm gonna tell you guys a story because at the time I was a single mom. I was working 3 jobs, and this entrepreneur who says, I hate jobs disgust me, and you're just in the matrix, and you have someone else telling you when you can pee and how long you can chew your food and all of these things. It's like, okay, yeah. And so you're telling me all these things, and then she'll be like, but can I get $20? Because, like, bro, like, I thought you wanted to be like, I thought entrepreneurship is like, you get financial freedom, you get to make your own schedule and all these things. But I'm really, really grateful that she didn't listen to the naysayers, because had she not, she wouldn't be as successful as she is. I mean, I'm sitting next to a woman who built $1 million business and then gave it away. She gave it away to me. So it's not just like a fake thing of, hey, you heard this one person or this one guy, or, you hear like, oh, people win the lottery. Okay, where? Like, do you know them? Have you ever shook hands with them? Did you ever sleep in the bed with them? Because like, who are these people? People who win the lottery. Okay, great. But when she built this business, I was side by side with her, helping her to build. And it's crazy to think like you have so many superpowers that even in that, and I know it's hard for you to give that business away, but was just like, okay, you can have it. I'm going to go start something new. So to see her build something from the ground up, and it's almost like everything you do turns to gold, because you just like, you turn something into nothing and you're like, okay, on to the next thing. Here you go. And build something into nothing, and it's like, okay, on to the next thing. Here we go. And so it's just really, really cool over this it's Giving's 1 year old.
I know.
Like, I cannot believe, what's 3, 5, 10, 15 years look like. And I was like, girl, you like the next Oprah Winfrey or something. Like, I could see, I'm like,
That
wait
would
a
be
second.
great.
That'd be pretty cool.
Speak that into existence.
Yeah, that is.
Definitely see
I'm
that.
just grateful she went against the grain at all odds. And even when, just like that vision, like, we'd say, Sarah, get a job. And she'd be like, jobs disgust me.
I would not do
I'm
it.
gonna
I
start
agree.
saying that.
Yeah, I was like,
Jobs disgusting.
yes.
You don't work a job. You work.
Right.
You work
No,
an
I love what it-
opportunity.
yeah.
Yes, and I have to say, like, I am grateful, but sometimes we have to remember that, like, sometimes, and if I'm speaking to content creators, I feel like they probably have a lot of naysayers in their life,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
where people
Oh,
are
for
like,
sure.
get a real job,
Like
you know,
parents.
yeah, absolutely, and sometimes the people that love us the most, they support us the least, and it's not because they don't think that you're capable or because they don't think you're incredible. It's because they're trying to keep us safe in who we are instead of seeing us for who we can be. Keep us safe inside of that vision of how life really is. And so it's funny because I could have called Lauren at that time and been like, okay, so look, I'm about to rob this bank, okay? And she would have been like, what's the plan? Like she would, because we've been ride or die our whole lives. Even when we like hated each other as sisters when we were young in our teens, we still, nobody else could fight my sister.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nobody else could talk to her
fight
crazy.
you.
Right, like literally, we've always had that relationship. And so sometimes the people that love you the most, they say, get a job.
Yeah.
No, Sarah, I don't have $20 to send you.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful that, yes, you have to have your own level of knowing who it is that you are. And I always say belief breaks down into 5 really simple steps. And I don't want to go into it because that's going to take me on a 5-minute tangent. But essentially, belief is a repetitious thought turns into your awareness, turns into your in alignment, your action in alignment turns into your progress, turns into a newer, higher level of belief.
Oh my gosh,
And
I've
so,
never heard that.
Oh, it's really, belief is an action word,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
when you...
It's a thought we keep thinking.
It is really and truly, because when you believe something, you act like it. It's like nobody can tell me I won't be successful. I've already done it. No one can tell Lauren she's not an incredible mother. She already is it. No one can say she's not an amazing wife. And mind you, we do get in our own heads. We do have that imposter syndrome. But at the end of the day, I always, thank you so much. I always use the example of, the globe. If our whole life, and this is really for the content creators, if you are really battling with yourself and you feel like you don't know if you can do it or when is it going to be your time, or why is it not happening for me, or this isn't happening fast enough, we have to remember that, like, if our entire lives we've only ever been taught the map of the United States, right? Our whole lives. You look at a globe, it's a map of the United States. You look at the map, it's a map of the United States. And no matter what, we've only ever seen a map of the United States. And then you start getting around millionaires and you start getting around people that are actually successful, and they're like, Japan. Your first thought is, that's not real.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist. I grew up looking at a map, and this is what I've seen. Well, we're here in Omaha, Nebraska right now, and we want to get to Japan. What does that look like? Well, there's some land, there's some water. Some people might know the person that they can call, and they got a private jet, and it's easy for them. Some people are going to have to hitchhike. Some people's car is going to break down in the middle of the road. Some people don't have enough to afford the airfare. Some people might have to get in the ocean, literally start swimming and try to catch the boat. Like, whatever it may be, we don't know what the journey is going to look like, but are you willing to open your vision of what's possible for you? Are you willing to have the Oprah Winfrey conversation? Are you willing to say, you know what, I can, because why not me? You know, and I think that a lot of the times what people do is when life starts to go wrong, it's like, oh, well, maybe this is God saying, this just isn't for me. Maybe this is God. No, maybe this is God saying, how bad do you really want it? Because one of the things that I realize is every single time, and we talk about this all the time, that we make a decision to do something great, boom, adversity comes up.
Yes.
It'll be like, I'm gonna lose 5 pounds, get in the best shape of my life, boom, International Donut Day.
Yes.
Freid does it. Like, what in the world is happening here every single time? And so you have to make a commitment to who it is that you see yourself as. You have to see it and feel it and practice it every single day, because in a world where the world wants to beat you down, the world doesn't want you to know who you are, because then you're controllable, right? They want you to fit into the matrix. And the second that you start to decide, no, you know what? I know who I'm going to be. I'm going to create it. Not only are you inspiring yourself and you're getting in action, but you're also cultivating an entire group of people behind you to follow and leaving them the blueprint.
Yeah,
that's
and
powerful.
with that too, it's, if we're talking to content creators, right? Sometimes you have to protect your dream before you let everybody know about
Ooh,
it.
say that.
Sometimes you have to build on it a little bit before we blast it.
Yeah.
Because I can honestly say, and I've been in that same position where the naysayers naysayers say, and this is a real thing that happened when I was inheriting $1 million business. Everyone behind my back was saying, "Oh, she didn't earn it. She didn't do this. She just got it handed to her. Oh, da 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 da." Right? But less alone. And I let that get to me for a little bit. But then I was just like, no. How many people do you know right now that could be handed $1 million business and still manage it
and grow it
How many people right now are building the tools that have the ability now that you can hold for that thing?
Yes.
I always say so many people are out here praying for, like, God, send me an ocean's worth of water. It's like, but you've only got a spoon.
Ooh.
So how are you going to hold for oceans vast of water when you got a spoon to carry around? Like, what are you doing to actually grow yourself? What are you actually doing to become that vessel to hold for your blessing when it shows up?
Absolutely.
But in that same turn, it's like the people that we love the most, they support us the least, and they want to keep you who you are, because it's like, oh, that's Sarah from Regina, Saskatchewan. Not like, oh, mogul Sarah who's on a 9 million person platform, who's acting, singing, actress. Oh, that's Sarah from you. It's like, they want you to succeed, but it's almost hard for them to see you do that. So in the sense of, I'm not saying in a braggadocious way, but if you have a dream, if you have something that you are looking to birth, if you have something that is in, gestation, if you have the content parlor that's going to come to life, maybe build it first and then say, come see what I've done. And this is how you can be a part of the plan. And just like Sarah was saying, you're cultivating a group of people that are coming with you. Yes, but sometimes you have to leave those people so that you can say, come look at what I've done.
Yeah.
And if you want to be where I am, let me give you that blueprint to Japan. Let me show you how I got here.
Yeah.
Yes, I hitchhiked. I crawled a little bit. I cried. I had to call a taxi. I had to save up. I had to make a fundraiser to get a ticket on a plane, or whatever that looked like, right? You can follow this exact blueprint and get to Japan with me, right? You can follow this exact blueprint and be as successful as I can. But the reality of it is, a lot of people aren't willing to do the work that you did. Are you willing to crawl and cry and fundraise and find the plane and talk to the people and do the thing and keep going and walk till your feet are bloody? Then it's like, all right, maybe you don't deserve to be in Japan. And because you could give anybody anything. I feel like a lot of times, especially as entrepreneurs, so many people are willing and wanting and do gatekeep. It's like, if I'm dope at what I do, you're not me.
Right.
And I could give you the exact same blueprint. I could tell you the exact same words. I could use you like a puppet, but your favor is not my favor. What's for me will never pass me by. And if just because I give you the keys to the kingdom, okay, now it's up to you to get there. Right. So it's just like, I feel as though as a entrepreneur, if you're going somewhere in your life and you have those people who are saying, Sarah, get a job, or you have those people who are like, oh, they're just handed this, or they don't deserve this, or they're never going to get there, or that's for them, that's not for her, you're never going to make it. Do your stuff in private. And then celebrate in public, because it's the hard work that happens in the dark that's celebrated in the light.
So
God.
Yeah, those are good.
I feel like I need to start saying amen, hallelujah.
So, Lauren, you talked about your sister and her progression on social media. Can you talk a little bit about how she's grown this platform? What's it been like watching her blow up on social media?
It's so cool, to be honest. Like, I'm always her biggest fan. So one thing that you may or may not know about me, if someone were to follow my social media blueprint, like, you know how your phone tells you this is how many minutes you were on Instagram. You will open my Instagram and be like, 8 minutes this month. It's like, I don't, and that's like me opening the platform, pushing send, copy and pasting my caption from notes, and like, I do my, like, I use social media, I don't let it use me. I don't reel, I don't scroll, if we did away with social media entirely, I would be like, okay, great, that's so awesome. Half the time, but there are a few stories that I ever even watch. There's few content that I ever even double tap, but I always follow what my sister's doing. Half the time she's so busy that I'll be like, let me just check her story and be like, oh, she's shooting today. Oh, she's filming today. Oh, look at who's that with. Sometimes I'll be like, wait, who's this for? Double checking. Oh, you're doing cam show? So cool. When's it coming out? Okay, great. I love you. Keep being amazing. But it's
Can I just say one thing? We have each other's locations, and my sister will literally, she screenshot the big, the mid, and the zoom in, and was like, "Where are you? Where are you at?" I was like, "Oh my god!"
I do that all the time. I'll take a picture.
We do that to each other.
I'll take a picture of my face, and it'll just be like my eyes and my forehead, and then I'll send it to her. I'll be like, POV, checking to see why your sister's at Target. Like, what are you buying? Like, what are you doing?
That's so funny.
Yeah. But no, it's been absolutely incredible. I don't even want to say I'm shocked, honestly, because everything she's ever done, right from being young, like this is the SRC president in our school representation.
Okay,
She's
okay.
so we both were professional cheerleaders for 4 years.
Okay.
I was a
3,
cheerleader
she was
before
4.
her, 2 years. The last 2 years she came on the team because she's 2 years younger and she didn't meet the age requirement.
And you guys
right
did
away.
the same team.
Yes.
Okay.
She was the
that's so
captain of
fun.
the team. It's like, wait, I've been here, but like, okay, she can be captain. I'll follow her lead because she's amazing. But she's always been like the leader of the pack. So even like she had talked about her past 2 podcasts that she was a part of, in my head, and I've always told her like, hey, you should start your own thing, because it's one thing to have all of the tools, and it's one thing to let's say you're climbing a mountain. My sister, without a shadow of a doubt, she could climb Mount Everest if she put her mind to it.
Yeah.
But if you were to strap a 300-pound person to your back and try to do the same thing, you're gonna like probably kill you both, or just you'll end up dying. So I always feel like she's always trying to pull people who aren't ready to go the distance with her. And so I'm so grateful to see her do her own thing and not only just like succeed, but supersede everyone's expectations. And she's always been the person to go against the grain, but in a good way, like in the sense of like, when Instagram had the blue check come out and you could pay $15 a month to have the blue check, I was like, oh, are you going to be verified? Because I'm so... She'll be like, so-and-so talked to me today. I'm like, oh, who's that? Oh, this person has like 100 million followers on so-and-so. I'm like, oh, good for you, boo. I'm so happy for you. But inside that, she's like, no, that's lame. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, yeah, totally lame. I wouldn't do it either. Like, I just know everybody was doing it. I just want to see if you were going to do it too. And she's just like, no, I'm going to authentically grow. And so even when she got just like success, when she got to celebrate 200,000 followers, I was like, yo, bro, like almost 500,000 people, or 250,000 people. Like, yes, 250,000 people, like everything she does. And I just, being able to know her and know the process, and for me, it's just the consistency. Consistency wins over time, and she's so consistent, and it doesn't hurt that she's so freaking gorgeous.
We have the same face.
No.
So thank you. But
I literally am just like, I feel like I love that she's using her powers for good and not for evil. And she could be the bikini model who shows every piece of her body and have
that's a good
billion
point.
followers, but she decides to stay in morals, in value, in dignity.
And speak the truth.
And speak the
Yeah, I
truth.
do
Yes.
love that.
That's what I told her. My favorite thing about her podcast is the contrast. Very few, if any, because again, I don't podcast, I don't Instagram, I don't scroll, but
In the past, she's got a podcast on YouTube.
yes, now she does.
now
Yes.
I'm a
now I'm
podcast.
Sis, take my
now
hand.
I'm a podcaster. Okay, yeah, follow us at Sis Take My Hand .podcast on Instagram. I think we have like 7 followers. We're so popular. But outside of that, it's a whole new world now. But what I really, really appreciate about her podcast is she holds women accountable. Not many women nowadays, like, yeah, sure, they've got like guys who give guys advice or guys who are talking about guys, but I don't know of a smart, beautiful, talented, well-rounded woman who is speaking the truth for women. And I feel like it feels really good to watch. And it's funny because being a married woman at that, I always say I'm like her biggest critiquer, I'm her biggest cheerleader, but I'm also like her biggest hater in a sense. Like if I could find a way to hate, I would be like, you know what, maybe somebody will say this about this, or maybe, no, you weren't thinking about this way. And just giving her that like constructive feedback in a big sister kind of way, knowing that it's coming from a place of 100% love.
Yes.
And the internet comes for you no matter what you do. I could say like, I hate the color black, and people are like, oh, how could you?
Yeah.
Pink's the best color anyway. Like they think of it like, I don't even read her comments because she'll be really making like a dignified point about, I don't know, loving babies, and then people will be like, oh, her eyebrow. Her What is
Right. Or they'll be like, you believe in abortion. Like, wait,
It's like,
what?
wait, I said love babies. What is going on? Yeah, so people just find reasons to be angry. So in my head, I'm like, it's not worth my time, energy, or effort. Like, I don't got the time. When people are like, who do you follow? I'm like, I follow my husband. I follow my 5-year-old around. I follow my 16-year-old. I follow my 24-year-old. I follow my job. I follow now my own podcast. There's too much in my life that I have to follow in real life than on social media. But I'm excited to.
Did you say 24-year-old?
Yeah. Oh, he's my bonus baby. So me and my husband, we have 3 sons. Well, 4 if you count the dog.
Okay.
And my bonus baby was 3 when my husband and I got together. He wasn't my
that
husband.
still doesn't make it. I mean, you both look like you're like 25.
Yes!
That's what I'm trying to figure. You started
Day of my life.
your first. You started your business when you were 10.
Yes.
15 years ago.
That's exactly
I
correct.
was the young spry 8.
Correct.
Second grade.
I might have been 6.
Yeah.
You know, just really ahead of my
That
time.
makes a lot more sense. Now I can. Okay.
No, I'm 36 and
I'm
Lauren is
38.
38.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't asking for age.
yeah.
Since y'all put it out
We
there.
talk
We
about
put
it all the
out there.
time. You know,
Like a fine wine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's impressive.
at least trying our best.
Well, I'm the only guy on the show here, so we'd like to play a little game.
I love a game.
I want you to speak to us like we're sisters and give us some advice as sisters because you two are sisters. So I brought an item here to help spice things up. So now we're sisters.
Okay.
So if you could just give us we got a couple questions here for you. So growing up in Canada,
Trying to take it seriously.
okay, and the transition to the United States and then growing these platforms,
Yeah.
how did you, as a sister, kind of leave the nest not being married? Like, how would we do that if we were coming from Canada? How did you make your way to the United States and then figure out how to grow your platform in Atlanta?
Ooh, well, I went to LA first for 15 years. And honestly, over the last probably year, we've grown, like on Instagram, over 150,000 people. And so I would say you have to be anchored to something. And it has to be something real. A lot of the times, you know, people are like, what's your why? And it's like, oh, I want to retire my mom. That's not your why, because if it was, your mom would already be retired, right? If you really wanted that to be. For me, when I first started in entrepreneurship, I just wanted to stop paying my rent late because every month I was getting a note on my door to either pay or quit. And when I moved out of that apartment, I got sued for $3,500 because out of the 4 years that I lived there, I only paid my rent twice on time. And so what I realized was, and I'm trying to like not laugh because I'm looking at this hair.
We look so much alike.
Right.
We're sisters, right?
And so what I had to learn was we are not our circumstance or our situation. And so one of the ways that I stay very grounded inside of who I am and what I'm after and how to grow my platform is I live by 5 mantras. Number 1, things go wrong so that life can go right. Number 2, this is all a part of my story. Oh my gosh, this is all. And then your story, like the crazier your story is, the more people you get to touch. So it's like, okay, fine, you know, which then brings me to the next one, which is I don't ask questions in regards to things I don't understand when it comes to people. She hates it when I say it, but it's like, why did that person cut me off? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Not going to give it energy. You know, why did that person disrespect me?
That's good.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Not going to give them energy. Why did that person I don't know. And I'm not going to give it energy because there's nothing more powerful than having power over yourself. You know, you don't want to give it away. The other one is all things are happening for my good, even the bad, you know, because it just makes you better. Either you get better or it works.
It's so true.
You know, like the learning lesson of it all.
Yeah,
and
win-win.
most recently in 2023, because 2023 was one of the hardest years of my adult life. You know, our dad was fighting cancer, and financially, that's the most stretched I had ever been. And mentally, I was in shambles, grieving my dad like he had gone already, and he wasn't, and he's still here, praise God. And so it was just a really hard year spiritually, like, God, where are you? One of those years. And so my mantra that came out of that was, I was built for this. Whatever this may be, I was built for it. And so when things start happening, like maybe, you thought you were going to get an opportunity that doesn't come, I was built for this. I'm going to keep going anyway. Things go wrong so that life can go right. And you know what? This is all a part of my story. Now I can tell the story about how I was the girl trying to find $3 in my couch so I could put $5 on pump 3. I can tell that story because that's my real life. I can tell the story about how I got sued for $3,500. I can tell the story of how I had to choose between, was I going to put gas in my car or food in my fridge. I can tell the story about calling my sister, who was a single mom at the time with 3 jobs, and being like, can you send me $20? Actually, can you make it 30 because the ATM's gonna take about 3? And we got to make it make sense with the exchange rate and all these different things. And so, realistically speaking, all of the things are happening for our good, even the bad. So in regards to growing your platform, be authentic, And I'll also just say this. If you're telling more than 3 people about the things that are going wrong in your life,
Just want attention.
you don't want a solution, you want attention.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah, speak that truth.
That's number 1. And number 2, don't talk about it till you're through it. Because if you're in it, it's complaining. Nobody wants to hear about it. If you're out of it, it's inspiration. So you definitely want to wait until you're getting to the other side, because if you're at a level 3 out of 10, you could teach a 2 and a 1. If you're at a 5, you can teach a 4 and a 3. If you're at a 7, you could teach a 6. If you're at an 8, you could teach a 7. If you're at a 10, you could teach a 9. So if you just focus on continuing to get better, and that's all social media is. I don't have every answer. I am not perfect. I like for my makeup to be as perfect as it can be. I like my outfits to be on point, but me as a human, I am flawed, and I'm okay with that. And I express that. And so I really think over the last year, that's why we've taken off the way we've taken off. Almost 150,000 new people have come to our platform because I'm real.
Yeah, people resonate with that, and it's missing as well. This wig is extremely hot, so I just want to ask you the same question. I'm going to take this off. While you ask us sisters about what your journey was.
Moving to America.
Yeah.
Oh, my journey is completely different. My journey is my husband. So I lived in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada. I was a professional cheerleader for the same team he played for. So he played for 6 out of the 4 years that I cheered. Then he got recruited to the NFL. And when he left, he's like, and you're my wife, so you're coming with me. I was like, okay, cool beans, I guess. Yeah, I can do that for sure. And then in that, our story is the long of the short. So my husband and I, we met in 2003. We started dating. And this is the fast forward version. We started dating. We dated for 4 years. We got engaged to be married. We got pregnant. We had a baby. Then my husband said he wasn't ready to be married. So like an ultimatum, I felt like I was giving him. Totally lost that. Was like, I'm going to go find someone to marry me if you're not going to do it. He was like, okay, bye. So we broke up for 5 years. And then we got back together secretly for 1 year.
Definitely secretly.
Yeah,
Heavy
very
on the secret.
secretly. And then like a lot of therapy. And then we got married. So we've been together together, not together, a span of 21 years, married for 8 out of those 21. But these last 9 years have been really awesome and amazing.
And you had another son.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. Okay, so if you're watching this, hi content creators and whoever sees this, Lauren Keith and Kenton Keith, we biologically have 2 children together. I have 1 bonus baby that my husband has with his first son's mother, but our 16-year-old and our 5-year-old now, they have the same mom and dad. So a lot of people, and I get it, rightfully so, right? You from the outside looking in, along comes a girl who has an 8-year-old son, and she marries a guy, and then they're married for 2 years, and then they have another baby. I live a life of a lot of young women where, you're young and you're in love and you have a baby, and then you grow up a little bit, and then you find a husband, and then you've started another version of your life. It just so happens I live that exact life. I just did it with the same guy. And so a lot of people assume that either somehow our middle son is not my husband's child, and or depending on where and how you meet them, they will think I'm not his mom, which is so strange.
Well, that clears that up.
Yeah. So there's that. So in the 5 years we weren't together, I lived in Las Vegas, Nevada with my best friend, where I was a single mom working 3 jobs. And then now we lived in Austin, Texas for a while. And now we're back here living in Omaha since May of 2020. So it's a wild ride, but I'm happy to be here. Everything is happening
for our good. Even the bad.
Yeah.
Well, you are proven and tested, and I can tell you there's a lot of people that can't even say that. So hats off to you.
Yeah.
So with high profile dating, obviously we did some research. Okay, this question is for Sarah.
Oh.
You said you're single.
Yes.
Right. So
I'm actively dating though.
Actively dating.
Yes. But I'm not married, so I'm single.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I'm single too.
Okay, yeah.
Besties.
Hey.
So yeah, what is that like? Can you talk a little bit about how that differs from before you kind of reached, that level of access to people? Obviously, there was some point when you were.
She's always been the way for.
She's always been. I mean, even in high school.
No, I mean.
Well, I'm saying like, at some point you
There's
have that contrast where you could compare the differences.
Yeah.
A lot of people are curious about that, like what the differences are, if any.
Yeah, I think ultimately what I desire and what I choose is high. Okay, so I should say this. Masculinity and femininity, they are energies, they're not genders, and we all have both.
Okay.
And so for me, I highly desire a man that ranks very high on the masculinity spectrum. Mm-hmm. In the book, The Way of the Superior Man, it talks about how a very masculine man still has 10 to 20% femininity because it's necessary. And the highest level of feminine woman still has 10 to 20% of masculinity because masculinity is certain, it's grounded, it's decisiveness, it's clarity, it's power, it's achievement, it's do. Mm-hmm. Femininity is feel, it's creative, it's flow, and it's like water, it's like the ocean. It can be so completely serene or it can be wrath, right? And so femininity heavily leans on masculinity. So for me, I'm a very feminine woman that can be very masculine inside of my achievements and outside in the world. But when I come home, I just want to be little angel baby muffin poodle cookie. Like I just want to be little muffin, I want to be the baby, I just call me baby Sarah. Okay, little girl. I want to be inside of my little girl and feel safe to be that way. Mm-hmm. And so I choose the men that, of course, high levels of masculinity does come with high level of earning. Mm-hmm. It does come with usually high level of value because they have a very strong integrity point and a connection. For me, I choose men that have a connection to God, although there are people that don't have that, but that's the barometer that they measure their integrity by. Has nothing to do with how great of a woman they have or whatever. They are who they are. Mm-hmm. And so the difference sometimes inside of choosing that kind of man is he may not have the same type of time. He's not the man that says, oh, baby, you had a long day. Let me rub your feet. Mm-hmm. He's not the man that says, oh, you know what? You're feeling a little tired. Let me give you a massage. He's probably not that man. Mm-hmm. But he is the man that'll say, oh, baby, you had a long day. Let me send you and your girls to a spa weekend. Mm-hmm. He's the man that says, take the driver, go shopping. Mm-hmm. He's the man that'll say, just come lay here. And don't say, we don't need to say anything. Let's just lay in the bed and watch a movie. And big spoon, little spoon. You know what I mean? It's very different as opposed to men that rank higher on the feminine spectrum tend to be more romantic. Mm-hmm. They tend to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. What?
No, I'm just thinking inside my head, my husband is a very masculine man, however, would definitely rub my feet.
If your feet really hurt, but that's not his first thought.
Probably not.
It's definitely not you walk in the door, he knows your feet hurt and he's like, let me rub your feet.
Yeah, my husband's
that's training.
Very masculine.
It's probably, I was like, maybe
it's training. Maybe it's not innate.
Yeah, you're right.
My husband's very masculine, but if you try to get a massage or that, he'll be like, how about I cook you dinner?
Oh, yes.
Right?
It's a
love that
servant's heart.
Just as much.
Yes.
Just very much a servant's heart.
Yes, and that's the thing. Masculinity wants to solve a problem.
That's what I was going to say. Masculinity wants to solve a problem. If I say my feet hurt, my husband's going to rub my feet. He might begrudgingly do it, but not show me that he's hating every second of it.
Right.
But he's solving the problem.
Masculinity wants to solve a problem. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I would say, there's certain levels, right? There's some times where you might date me or a man or whoever, and you got to sign an NDA, you know, and don't be offended. It's just keep it private, you know. Why do you need to go out and tell everybody everything? That's another thing about like high level, high earning, high value from my perspective of a man is everybody doesn't need to know everything, and there needs to be a high level of exclusivity. I'll also say this for my ladies, because y'all are all we're single. So for my ladies though, if you desire to have that type of man, you can't be a promiscuous woman. There are rules to the game. Like high value means exclusivity, and I'm probably going to get shot for saying this, but the truth is, can I just be candid?
Just say it.
Say it.
The saying like you can't turn a hoe into a housewife is maybe true if you're willing to move. But if you are grounded wherever you're at, and you know you're never going to move out of your state, just be mindful. It is way worse for a woman to be promiscuous than a man. It is a double standard. We don't get to do it. There are certain things women that want a certain type of man, you don't get to dress a certain way. And especially in 2024 where people are wearing lingerie with Air Maxes outside, you got to know to steer away from that. Stop doing what you think is popular and do what's in alignment with what it is that you want to call in.
I like that so much because I feel like so many women these days are prescribing to, I like the ultra independence, but also the like pro-ho movement.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like,
I literally saw a meme that said, sis, you've been naked on Instagram for 2 years and you're still single. Try putting some clothes on. It's like the crazy aspect of it is, especially so many women, and I feel like, hey, if you're watching this and you're a woman, keep your clothes on. Because first of all, my kid has social media, and unfortunately, and yes, my child is 16 years old, and could I be the parent who says he doesn't have a phone or he doesn't have social media and he's not able to interact with the world? But it's like, if you're putting smut and trash on the internet, just stop. Just stop. Because there are things that are private. Your body is private. Show your body. And this too, for my single ladies, if you're showing your whole entire body to the world, what is left for your husband? Leftovers?
right, also like
That's not always fun.
self-respect.
That part. Dignity,
Yeah.
morals.
I'll tell you right now, you are disqualifying yourself from a high value man the second that you start posting that way. And I'm not even going to say cover it up. Do what makes you happy, but just know the consequence that it comes with.
That's the key.
Cover it.
I was just having a conversation the other day. I was at my third Friendsgiving.
I was like, how many friends do you have?
I love that.
I am so tired. Okay. Oh my goodness. So I was at my third Friendsgiving, and one of my really good friends loves women that have BBLs, Brazilian butt lifts.
Interesting.
I actually call him Aunt Booty.
Yeah, and we laugh. Don't say his name.
I won't.
Though.
He knows this though.
So it's like a running joke at this point. Like if you don't have surgery, he won't talk to you. And I love him. And so the girl that he had with him, really sweet girl, of course, whatever. Anyway, she invited another girl over. And she, beautiful girl, definitely had surgery on every aspect. Right? Looks great. And there's no shame in anybody's game. I think do whatever makes you happy. But if it's overtly showing, you are disqualifying yourself. And she was having a conversation as a young woman, and she was like, we were talking about abstinence and celibacy. And she was like, I'm celibate. And I said, oh, so you're waiting till marriage, because celibacy means you've made an oath to God and you're going to wait until marriage to get married, to have sex. And abstinence means you're just not until you are. Right now I'm abstaining. So she was like, oh, okay, I'm abstaining. And she said, I just hate how men, I'm making them wait because I don't want men that only want me for my body. And I said, why would you get all this work done on your body if you don't want to be sexualized? You're a walking sexualization. Like that's all I can see when I think of you. I'm not thinking, wow, this is such a classy woman. And men aren't either. Men are thinking, oh, what I would do to you tonight, what I would do to you for the next 3 weeks, maybe 6 months. And hell, if all you want to get is a bag and some trips, then do you, boo, and that's going to work for you. That's great. But if you want something that's substantive, if you want something that's real, if you want something that real partnership, or at least just a man that's going to respect you, not just give you some attention, then you got to think about the decisions that you're making. And so we were going back and forth having a well, I thought it was a beautiful debate. I hope that she wasn't offended, but let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing wrong with enhancements. There's nothing wrong with surgery. There's nothing wrong with showing yourself on the internet. There's nothing wrong with any of it. It's just, what is the result that you want? And that's the way that you have to move. And so to answer the question, this is such a long answer. My answer to the question is, high profile dating means be a lady, have class. And look, I love a sexy number. You know. I love a plunging neckline. I love a thigh out. But there's levels to it, you know? And depending on how you put it out there, are you seeking attention or are you seeking respect? Because you teach people how to treat you.
Yeah.
I expect the UPS man in uniform to deliver the mail.
Yeah.
You dress like a hoe, I'm gonna treat you as such.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
It's real.
Sorry.
It's very real. I appreciate it.
When you say there's nothing wrong with the covered up, don't
There's
cover it
not.
up. My barometer says it's wrong. Just cover it up. Okay?
I'm not gonna say there's no right or wrong.
Okay, so I suppose in a world where there are no rules, and just how my sister said she would like a guy in her world that his barometer have a connection with God. Why? Because then when he sees a half-naked person, hopefully he will scroll past it instead of double tap it, because that would be disrespectful. However, if I'm measuring by that same barometer and I'm saying, hey, there's a half-naked person on the internet, or fully naked at this point, shoot, I've seen some crazy stuff. And every time, even myself, it's like, I don't follow this person, I don't look at this person, but when I open my Instagram to post on there, it's like, why is someone's bare butt in my face? I didn't subscribe to
I
this.
was just talking about that.
Yeah, it's like
I don't follow any of these people. Why is this in my feed?
Yeah, it's like, why is it happening to me? Why is it happening? So essentially,
That
no.
happened to me today, actually.
For my barometer, your barometer too, because if you believe that it wasn't wrong, you would do it.
No, it's not in
No.
alignment for what I want. I don't think
Right,
it's
you're
wrong.
saying it's a strategy thing,
Yeah,
right?
well,
It's about what you're trying to
out here
attract.
strategizing.
Well,
That is not.
No,
that is not the thing.
it's not in
This is like,
alignment.
oh,
It's-
strategy.
And also,
strategy. I want to be treated like crap and get 2 likes on a full booty photo. Let me put it up.
No, they'll get
That's
two,
their strategy?
they'll get 20,000
No, they get
likes on a
2.
full booty photo.
I see it.
I'm
And
just
it's
saying.
actually embarrassing. It's more embarrassing.
true.
What would be more embarrassing if I put my full naked behind on the internet and get 2 likes? I think the 2 likes is more disrespectful than me even putting up the photo in the first place. Like, my naked butt got 2 likes? 2? Only 2? Yes, sis, because you were doing it for the attention.
That's
and you
true.
didn't even get the attention that you wanted. So it's like, okay, maybe you are right. If outcome
That's it.
isn't giving me what I want, then it's time to switch it.
Yeah.
Try putting a face photo up and see what happens. See how many likes we can get from that.
Yeah.
But and I can honestly say that social media negatively grooms us, though, because let's say on a regular time, if I put my face photo up and I get 10 likes, but then I put my naked butt photo up and I even get 25 likes. That's more likes than I usually get.
Yeah.
And people are chasing the clout and the
It's vanity
likes and
metrics.
Yeah.
I will say,
so
even
negative.
strategically on my page, one of the things that I do is I'll post like me being out in clothing, which will get, you know, it boosts how many likes you get, which kind of keeps you inside of like higher up in the algorithm, right? So one of the things that I say, here's something for content creators: when you are building your brand, I say choose 5 words that you can represent and only post inside of those 5. It's got to be something about you. For me, it's motivation and inspiration, it's workout, it's lifestyle, and it's podcast, and it's me. Those are the 5 things. I'm not posting anything. You're not going to see, you know, well, that would be lifestyle, so I have posted that. But you're not really going to see me petting, I don't know. That's lifestyle too, to be
I was
honest.
going to say, no, you pet a tiger and
I
you
know
totally
I
put that out
did,
there.
and a lion and all the things.
Yeah.
But the point
within
is,
your brand, though.
yeah, it has to be. It
She's
has
like,
to
I'm
be.
not going to post like a mass shooting on the thing, be like,
Yeah.
breaking
Politics
news.
or-
Yeah, like, this
You're
is
not
just,
going to
like,
see
that's
me
not in
post
my
any of
brand.
that. It's not in alignment with my brand, and people know what they can count on me for. And also, beauty. That's another thing too. People start counting on you for the content that you put out. So sometimes, even if you are this person, let's say you have 1 million followers and you were posting super sexy, and now all of a sudden you want to be all covered up. They didn't come to you for
The
that.
algorithm.
Yeah.
So now they're not going to like your stuff the same. You're going to start to fall down in the algorithm because or you're pigeonholed to just doing that one thing. As opposed to if you really decide inside of building your brand, what are we going to do? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I am representing motivation, inspiration, something about me, lifestyle, fitness, my podcast.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's where I'm at.
good. So yeah, that kind of talks to Tara when you talk about the brand pillars and defining your personal brand pillars.
Oh yeah, we specialize in a lot of branding stuff.
Yeah.
So for the content parlor, we created brand pillars, which essentially lay out like those 5 things that we're constantly going to touch on.
Yes.
And we're only going to stick to that, and we're going to have consistency with
Yes.
it. You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
and then
a key.
people do come to rely on it, and then you're gaining followers and you're getting likes from these people that are like, oh yes, I wait for this every week.
Yes.
You know.
And it's the way that you talk about things too, because there was one woman, and I cannot remember her name, but I will forever use her as an example. She had 2.6 million followers on Instagram and couldn't sell 26 t-shirts
Ouch.
because people don't come to her to buy anything.
things, yeah.
They come to her to look at her. So if you're not bringing value, why would I invest?
Yeah, absolutely.
So are you bringing value inside of the pillars that you have? I love that.
So that actually is the next question I was going to ask you, Lauren, is about your sister's dating advice. Do you agree with her dating advice on her platform?
Oh yeah, on her platform I do. Oh, sorry, I thought you were gonna. Never mind.
I'm like, what
Yeah, what was the question gonna be? Hold on. Do I give my sister dating advice? Yes. Does she take my advice? No. However, she wants the outcome that I have, so I don't know why she wouldn't listen. But like I said, she always goes against the grain.
Yeah.
No big deal. No, I do for the 99.9%. I think I've only ever said like maybe twice ever in all of the reels I faithfully listen to It's Giving podcast, drops on Wednesdays. Every single podcast she's ever done since the beginning of time I have listened to, and I have given healthy feedback. Even I know like in her very 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 early, maybe like 5th or 6th episode, I was like, if I have to hear you tell the same story over again, as a faithful listener, I'm changing the channel and I will never listen. Obviously I will listen because I'm your sister and I'm going to keep listening, but don't tell that story anymore. Because if I am a faithful listener every single week, I'm not learning anything new from you. So I was like, so even if that means you have to curate questions to bait that person so you could tell a really interesting story about yourself, because you got a lot of interesting stories. I've known you since birth, right? So it's like, if you are able to bait a person or say, hey, we're going to talk about dance because I want to talk about how I did jazz and Caribbean and jazz and tap and ballet and musical theater. Create a way for you to tell more stories about yourself. She took that feedback and ran with it. I think there's only ever been like maybe twice that I've just been like, nah, that's not. If you want a husband in real life, that's not gonna happen. But I can't even remember what it was.
I don't either.
But we were just talking about the duality of, and I hate and I love that you can honestly say like, there is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad. And you could theoretically, depending on who you're talking to. And I suppose in that sense, it's like you either agree or disagree. And technically, your opinion can never be wrong. I could disagree with your opinion, but I can never say your opinion's wrong because it's your opinion. So if in your opinion you should be naked on the internet, okay, I don't agree with your opinion, but doesn't make you wrong. So I suppose you can't say this is wrong or this is right or you should do this. To my best knowledge, if you want a husband or if you want to give dating advice, follow, I don't want to say err on the side of caution, because in love there is no caution. You're kind of throwing caution to the wind,
Gotta dive
to be
in.
honest, because I mean my husband and I, it's a 21-year stretch, and tomorrow he could wake up and be like, I don't like your face, and he could just leave me. That suck really bad.
You would never.
But
Not gonna be the face.
You would never.
I don't like your face. You're out, and somebody else is in. I hope.
Literally never.
I pray that never happens. So Kenton Keith, if you're watching this, don't ever leave me. Okay? I'll follow
Don't
you.
leave the girl.
Okay?
Right.
Yeah, that part. But
'Cause I
at the end of the day, that's what makes love so scary. Is like we're human beings, and I feel like that's God's biggest mistake. It's like, free will, God? Seriously? We can just do whatever.
Yeah.
Like, however, whenever, for whatever, we could just do it. Okay, great. That's a horrible life choice.
Kind of crazy.
For us, yeah, kind of crazy. But I just hope that inside of relationships, you just got to wake up and choose your person every single day.
You know what I can say though, because sometimes people will say, do you feel like you should be giving advice when you're single? And I hear that all the time. And I think the problem is that when people think about relationships or even my content, they're thinking that I'm speaking to, well, this is what you guys need to do together. No, I'm speaking to the psychology of a human. I'm speaking to outcome and the desire thereof, right? And so I'm not speaking to couples. I'm speaking to people, and those people are inside of relationships. So ultimately, does it hurt you to be more mindful? Does it hurt you as a woman to go and get your man a little gift, surprise him with something? Yeah. Does it hurt you to be mindful of your tone when you're having an argument? Does it hurt you to bring down the volume because it just makes him more confrontational and he gets in his masculine, now you're in your masculine, and now you're... Does it hurt? And if the things don't hurt and they truly do enhance the way that you deal with one another, then why not give it a shot?
Yeah.
That too,
go ahead.
Not just, are you not in a relationship? I can genuinely say, because I know my sister, when you're getting advice, they always say never take advice from someone you would never trade places with. Now, in a sense, would I take a single woman's advice on my marriage? Maybe, maybe not, depending on what the circumstance is. However, do I want to take advice from a well-read, well-thought, happy person? So I know my sister is happy inside of her life. I know that she is giving advice from not just like, oh, the wind is blowing and I think I'm going to say this today, but it's her best, most educated thought, and she's very educated and she has a lot of amazing thoughts. And just like she said, if it's even making you just take a pause and evaluate or analyze before you react or before you speak, or the things that you do or the person you choose or the woman that you're being inside of your relationship, or man for that matter, if it's making you stop and think about it, what's wrong from taking advice from a person who's giving you good advice?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Especially if the person is like of sound judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Take advice from
happy, healthy, and whole.
Whole being a huge point.
That part. There are so many people that are in relationships also that are unhappy. Unhappy relationships that have people are doing all the things and cheating on each other and sneaking here and doing this and doing that, and then they could say, "Oh, well, a single person can't give you advice." It's like, yeah, well, I wouldn't take your advice either. I don't want your relationship.
Yeah, and I feel like we live in a world where people have made marriage the goal. And it's like, do you want to be married or do you want to be a wife?
Yeah.
Do you want to be a husband?
That part.
And those are two completely different things, because if you think about it, especially us as women, sorry, Turtle, but us as women, we are indoctrinated into get married and start a family.
Yeah.
Get married and start a family. And if you're not careful, anybody, as a woman, if you are a man, you can get me married and you can give me children, as long as everything is healthy. Yeah. Right? And so inside of that, if that's the only goal, it doesn't matter who you put into that space.
Yeah.
But if you are like, no, I'm after peace, fulfillment, joy, alignment, purpose, if I'm after things that actually matter, now who goes into that space actually matters. And that's the problem, because people try to look down on or try to weaponize, oh, well, she's single. Yeah, but I'm happy. Are you? You know, like really and truly, like inside of a relationship, I know so many miserable single, and if she doesn't have children. And the truth of the matter is, bringing children into something toxic, getting married to someone you hate, those are not things that any woman or man should really be a part of. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and say this too. I don't even think I've said this on a public platform, but it's just something that I've been thinking of, right? I asked a man on my podcast, I said, do you believe in marriage? Do you believe that we should get married? And are men afraid of marriage? And should we get married? And I have had my own revelation. Would you like to know what it is?
I would love to know it.
Yeah, tell me.
I feel like if you don't know God, you shouldn't get married.
Yeah.
I feel
agree with that.
I feel so deeply in my soul, because the truth of the matter is the godly aspect of marriage is the only thing that can keep it integrous.
That's the part, though.
It's the only, like, literally, like, if you're having a covenant under God, that is the only thing. Other than that, you're just two people with a marriage certificate. And here's another fun fact: marriage certificates were created in 1929. Actually, it was made in racism because they didn't want black men to marry white women. And so inside of that, you can't marry this person without a marriage license. It doesn't really count. And so now that it doesn't really count, we've indoctrinated marriage licenses into things. We used to jump brooms. So now we've taken something very like the government, something very
political.
Yes,
Corporate.
political,
It's very corporate.
business. We've done that, and we've done that on love. Now, I don't think there's something wrong with that. I also want to say this. If you're going to get married, and I know they say we shouldn't do prenups. Why would we do prenups if you're just going into it thinking that it's going to fail? No. You know what? You have a contingency plan for everything.
Yeah.
You get life insurance not hoping that you're going to die. You have car insurance hoping that you never get into an accident. But now you want to have insurance on your relationship, and that's an issue? People are weird. I don't understand that.
People are
but it's
weird.
okay. Y'all do you. I'm going to do me. This is what I think. I think if you have a prenuptial agreement and you get married to someone, first 1 to 3 years, wash your hands. Okay, it was a good run. We gave it our all. It just didn't work. I'm sure you grew. I know I grew. Thank you for this experience. Yeah, it's been great. 5 to 10 years, I'm 36 years old. The next 20 years of my life are the best years of my life. Whether I have children or not, whether I'm a bonus mom, I have a surrogate, or I adopt children, I have no idea what the Lord has in store for me, but I'm not attached to that. I'm more attached to happiness, joy, fulfillment, purpose, alignment. That's it, right? And so inside of that, 5 to 10 years, this is what it's going to look like per month. 10 to 15 years, this is what it's going to look like per month. 15 to 20 years, this is what it's going to look like per month. And 20 plus years, this is what it's going to look like, because this is the thing about a feminine woman. It is innate. You cannot help it. It is literally an instinctual thing that a woman, which is why we are the rib. I'm going to get a little biblical here. If we are the rib and we are the helpmeet to our man, naturally, when you are inside of your feminine, you want to help your partner. You are seeking the need before he even expresses it. You are solving the problems. You are putting yourself through emotional labor every single day, thinking of the 10,000 things that need to happen for your home to work, for your job to work, and to make sure you and your husband still work. So inside of all of that, it is so heavy and it is so much. And you know what? If that person is making if that woman is making the man's life more streamlined, more seamless, easier, more cohesive, more whatever, and on top of that, you're a porn star in the bedroom and a freaking bring peace in the living room.
Sure.
Literally, that woman should get something. It is a tough job. And you know what? Feminism has ruined everything.
A lot of things.
So let me ask you about that before we go too far off topic.
Oh my God.
That was
I'm sorry.
That was some heat right there.
most phenomenal women I've ever met.
Do you think that fist bump on that?
For real.
Do you think that women are being taught how to qualify men?
No.
Because you talked about
Absolutely not.
you talked about screening for masculinity.
Yes.
And then you also kind of described a double standard that it sounds like women have, where they want this, but then they want that also, right? They want to live like this, but then they want this type of man.
Yeah.
So can you talk about like
That's a good question.
how women should screen for masculinity if they should?
Yes, absolutely they should. They should screen for alignment more so than masculinity, because some women think they need a masculine man and they don't. A lot of women think they need this man that's going to take care of them and provide for them, but you're too hard, baby girl.
Yeah.
Take your armor off. You have to be softer. You can't be hard with a masculine man. Masculinity does this. It does not work. And so I feel like, number one, take sex off the table. That has to be number one. Because the truth is, most women are having sex for a dinner.
It's terrible.
You brought me to Cheesecake Factory. You brought me to Nobu. And now I feel like I owe you. I don't owe you anything. You can be my friend and I can get to know you. And if we find out that there's obviously there's going to be sexual chemistry, that's easy. Sex and money are the two easiest things. But spiritually, emotionally, mentally, energetically, can we get on the same accord there? And so if we can get on the same accord there, money and physical, that's literally the easiest thing on the planet. So take sex off the table. It just clouds judgment. It confuses everything. And then what usually happens? You start sleeping with this person and maybe you're getting ran through by a few of them, and now none of them want to wife you because you're acting like promiscuous in the streets. That's number one. Or number two, what else happens? You get comfortable. When you get comfortable, you move in together. When you move in together, it's not because you actually like this person. Most people are moving in together because they want to supplement their rent. Not because I actually powerfully choose you. Oh, it's cheaper for us to live together. We can split the bills. We can do the this. We can do the that. And everybody's happy with a 50-50 because before they were doing 100-100. So now they've let down the amount that they're actually paying per month. So, and then what happens? Then they get pregnant.
Yeah.
People are committing to children before they commit to marriage.
Yes.
That is strange.
That's crazy.
The craziest part
Soul
of
ties.
that part.
That's
the
so
craziest
true.
thing, we were having that conversation about God, and I remember not just God, but marriage, period.
Yeah.
And I think where so many people get it twisted is they'll say they're unbelievers or they don't believe in God, they don't believe in the Bible. It's like, well, then how can you even believe in marriage?
Yeah, you can't.
Because marriage is something that God created.
Yeah. Right.
So that would be like saying, oh, I believe in Santa, but I don't believe in Jesus Christ because it's his birthday. So what are we celebrating here, right? So inside of marriage and how we view the Bible and how we view a covenant is that you cannot have one without the other. And yeah, the politics of everything, you got to get a marriage license now. But inside of that, it's like, are you chasing marriage, or are you chasing the actual covenant that God has intended marriage to be? And with that being said, inside of a covenant and children and the comfortability of it is really like that, going back to the barometer of what you believe, like what is the best way, what is the best thing? And it's so much harder to curate the life that you want after the fact. And I'm a testament to that, because I was that young girl who wasn't, it's like you fall in love and you meet the guy and you have the baby and then you're single with your kid. So that, it's real life. But it's like prayerfully, godfully, thank you, Jesus, you brought it back together. However, it's just like you're subscribing to something with a person
And
that
you don't even know.
Yeah, it's
You
bad.
don't even know that
wasn't
person.
my personal experience. However,
Most people.
Well, I can't even say most because we
Yes,
don't.
you can
we don't
say
know
most.
Statistically,
I think it's most.
I don't know.
Well, statistically, what I know is black women there's more single black mothers than any other race in America.
True.
That's what I know, and I hate that because
in
what do we get taught? And Tara, not to take you out of it, but be in it. What do we get taught? Black women are taught to be independent women.
Yes.
That's what we're taught. We don't need no man. No, baby, we need a man. I don't know why you would think that. We were literally made from him. So why wouldn't we want to pour into? And this is the thing about a good man. You pour into a man tenfold, he pours back into you. It's like the overflowing buckets. It's the law of reciprocity. Yep. It just has to be good when you vet the person that you're with. Yeah. In other communities, in other cultures, they teach you, go to college, find your husband.
Yeah.
That's what they teach you.
Some girls go to college just to find a husband.
I have heard that.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought that was strange.
Yeah.
I went to college to get a husband. To get a husband, like what does that look like? That looks like I went to be like, oh, you're going to be a doctor? We go together now.
Right.
Okay? It's
Yeah.
like, wait, what?
Smart though.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
I mean,
You can't blame them.
Right. And the thing is, everybody is kind of doing it in a way where you're not taking the time to vet your person. Like, do you like my quirks? Mm-hmm. Are you okay with the way that I speak or move or think? And vice versa. Mm-hmm. Most people aren't taking the time to do that work. What do? They're lazy. They are like, oh, the sex is good, I have to pay less bills. And now it becomes this empty, non-fulfilled, repetitive cycle of a life that you never really wanted to sign up for, but now you feel stuck. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's not fair to people. And is it harder to vet people out? Yes. Is it hard to be sexually disciplined? Yes. All caps. Yes. Okay, it is hard. But ultimately, I know the result that I want. And we have to start, as a humanity, we have to start moving in alignment with what it is we say that we want. Mm-hmm. Too many of us are just willy-nilly about what it will. But this goes back to the fact, Jim Rohn says, walk away from the 97%. Napoleon Hill talks about how 97% of people are drifters.
Yes.
They go where life takes them.
Hill.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh,
yes.
my guy.
Hey, I love that. Outwitting the Devil is one of my favorite books on the planet. He has so many good books, but Outwitting the Devil, it's a really incredible book. If you are drifting inside of your life, you have to be intentional with the way that you move in your life. Yep. Otherwise, the world will tell you. And the world doesn't have a lot planned for you.
Except for you to help. Yeah, what do they say? 99% of people are just helping someone else build their dreams.
Yeah.
It's like, because if you're not certain on what you want, and if you're not certain on how you're going to get there, and then it's like, if I don't have a plan for myself, someone has a plan for me to do something, and it's usually increasing what we can do for them.
Yeah.
So it sucks. You know what? I look at couples, and especially like people who say that they're believers in God, and when they say, oh, we've been in a relationship, and if they say anywhere over like a year and a half, I'll be like, oh, you guys are having sex together, or are you not? And they're like, oh no, yeah. It's like abstinence will,
time and abstinence.
Yeah, it'll be like, no, hour and a half. I mean, a year and a half. Boom, y'all will be married. It's like if y'all are actually waiting on one another and each other and getting to know one another and growing that bond. It's like, I don't know. I got questions for God.
And also, I just want to say this as a disclaimer.
Yeah.
There's no wrong way. And there are some people right now that might be hearing this podcast and being like, well, I'm doomed. You know, like I'm married or I have the children.
But the no wrong way.
There is no wrong way.
No,
according to you. I can't tell anybody else how to live their life.
True.
I haven't had their experience. And so if there's a mom out there.
What did you just say?
It's according to the outcome that you want. Does it change?
Your best advice is don't do it. But it's not wrong if you. If you
already did it. No, if you already did it, you gotta deal with
doing it too.
Not you can stop, but you can always get better. Mm-hmm. You can choose to be better, have better, do better. You can choose to increase the level of which you show up in your marriage. You can learn things like the Gottman theory so that you're not fighting the same. You can learn things like love languages so you can show up for your partner more powerfully. You can try things like, oh, hey baby, I'm telling you, gifts, ladies. Is this my camera?
Gifts.
Or is this my camera? Gifts. This is my camera? Ladies.
Oh,
here's a tip for you if you want to be spicy for your man. If you want to do something that he's going to be like, "Oh, now I have to give this disclaimer." If y'all have kind of been like not really intimate, you haven't been feeling it, and you're not even feeling it, but you just want to have more intimacy in your relationship, I promise you, think of what are the top 3 little things that he loves. Does he need new socks? Does he need new boxers? Does he need a new mug? Does he need a massage? Does he need massage oil? Go get whatever it is, something small. Give him the gift with a card. And with the card, put some lingerie in the thing. This is for my married people.
Oh, okay.
This is for
I
my
was
married
like,
people,
if there's no right or wrong, we're certainly steering.
Yeah, no.
to the ditch.
This is for my married people, okay?
Ditch.
Get him a gift.
Married people.
Put some lingerie or
This is good
whatever
advice,
makes
married people.
you feel sexy in there and let him know it's going down. Now, this is what's going to happen.
Put
because
lipstick and be like, this is what I'm wearing later.
literally, that's perfect. That's literally, however makes you feel sexy. Do something sexy for you. Put heels in a box. This is all I'll have on. Put an apron in a box. This is all I'll put on.
That's fun, too.
Come home in a trench coat with nothing underneath it. Because ultimately, men are physical. They desire an aesthetic. Let's just keep it 10,000% honest, right?
True.
Now, when that happens, I promise you, he's probably going to be like, where's the joke? He's probably going to be like, this is a trap. This isn't safe. I promise you he's going to feel like this isn't safe because for whatever reason, you guys have had your patterns before. That's okay. Keep doing it. The only way to break the pattern is to break the pattern. If you get that man a gift, if you start showing up, at first he's going to be weirded out. And then he's going to be like, oh, well,
this is
nice. What does she need? How can I do something nice for her? It is the law of reciprocity. A man that loves you wants to solve a problem. And as long as you are focused on making him better, helping him be better, helping, whatever it is, bringing that spice back, I promise you he'll start taking out the trash.
Okay, but question.
Yes.
What if you just had a child?
Okay.
You're the heaviest you've ever been.
Okay.
And you feel the most unsexy that you ever have.
Uh-huh.
And trying this is what you want.
Yes. What do you do?
What do you do?
Get out of your own head. Because this is the truth. A man that loves you, they still want you.
Okay.
And so for us as women, we do this.
Can I speak to that from a real place?
Oh, I don't have a real place.
I mean, you don't have a baby or a husband, so you've never birthed a human.
Go ahead.
Sure.
I'm coming back. Just so you know.
birthed a couple.
You can go
she's coming
first.
back.
You go first.
First and foremost,
You should probably go second because your advice will probably be better. Back to you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
First and foremost, I look at pictures of me when I gave birth to just my latest son, who's 5, and I look and I say, "Wow, like I was really overweight. I was past the 200s," and I literally was like, "Babe, why didn't you say anything at this time? Like, why aren't you eating healthy? Why aren't you working out more? Why aren't you? He has never been that person. If I'm always like, hey, I want to lose weight, he'll be like, do it. Hey, I want to gain weight, do it. Hey, I want to do this, do it. Like, he's never objectified the body. Praise me for when he feels like it's looking great. But when I look at old photos and I'm just like, why didn't you say anything? He's like, you're fat, sat in all the right places to me. I'm like, okay. So that being said,
men don't care.
Because I get it, because you get in your head and things aren't the way that they always used to be, or the way, like, babies, they do a number on you. And give yourself at least 2 years. You'll get back to normal. And I know 2 years seems long, but it goes fast. In the sense that it'll bounce back, but as it's bouncing back, don't get out of your own head is great advice.
Thank you.
Because they aren't looking at our stomach and our stretch marks. They're looking at what they
feel. They want to feel all the things
of the parts that got you the baby in the first place. So
as the only guy on the platform, I can definitely agree with that. There's a range. There's definitely a range. I wouldn't say it's you have to be this exact, weight or shape. There's a range in which is attractive to a guy. Mm-hmm. So now if you transform yourself into like 500 pounds or something like that, then that's a little thicker than he is used to.
Right.
But if you're 200 and suddenly you're 225, that's probably not gonna make a big difference.
And love masks a lot of things, and I think that goes twofold, both ways. Like essentially, not. In any capacity, let's say if my husband is doing something or saying something or whatever, behaving in such a way that in my head I'll be like, oh, gross. A little bit, I say, oh, gross. Maybe someone from the outside looking in would be like, oh. But for me, it's like, I love that person. So I'm going to give them a little more grace. Whereas if I've been 100 pounds overweight. So for my husband to look at me still and be like, oh, you're so beautiful, and the cheeks, and I love it. It's like, okay, it's weird, but not weird, because in a sense, when you truly love someone, and not saying like being in love and love are two separate things, but when you truly love someone, it like masks things a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that you gave your husband a beautiful child, so that masks a lot. Like, this is the human being
that's
that brought
all he's ever wanted. So.
Yeah.
Ever since we got together, I was like, first ring, second marriage, third house, me, school.
Yeah.
Then you can have the kids.
Yeah, look, and you did
priorities.
that. And I feel like it's never wise to neglect your man. Mm-hmm. Never, because ultimately, if a man is going to be a man. And some men will wait for their wives to get back to themselves, and a lot of men will not. And I think that's just reality speaking,
Mm-hmm.
and not to say that I don't believe every man cheats. No. I don't believe every man steps out, but I do know
you can have a level
man has urges.
Unhappiness too.
Yeah, no, I know that, but but wait, let me finish. I gotta finish.
Going. I just have a funny story.
Yes.
Maybe it's not funny. Maybe it's pretty crass. Maybe I shouldn't share it.
I don't know.
Keep going.
So anyway, one of the things that our mother always said to us is, if your man taps on your shoulder, roll over.
Yep.
Right? And so
this is leading right there.
Oh, okay, great. So literally, like, ultimately, you don't want, whatever you neglect is dying. Whatever you're neglecting is dying. Okay. And so it's important to be able to do the things that maybe if you don't feel your best in your body, there are other things you can do to satisfy your man. Right? And vice versa. There's other things he can do to satisfy you. So you don't necessarily have to make it just about sex, but you do need to be intimate sexually with your man. And also, I'll say, just get out of your own head. He doesn't care, especially if he loves you. A man that loves you, he's not looking at that. He's gonna be like, my girl was swinging from the chandelier, and I'm like, like that's all he's thinking about,
WWF
right? Literally, hold up, ultimately, but we have to be realistic, and I feel like we as women, we have this crazy high standard for beauty. We have this crazy high standard for how we think we're supposed to look, and some of us genetically get it. Some of us genetically never. Some of us just genetically are wrecked. Some of us are genetically blessed. She got everything good.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Stop
literally
it.
everything
Stop
good.
It.
everything
She
good.
just said we have the same face. Did she not just say
Yeah, you still got better genetics, though, for the record.
Okay.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Depends
My point
on
is,
the guy.
well,
For the record.
this is true. Also very true.
Very true.
But ultimately, like, we as women have to like take off the pressure, because I also feel like the pressure of society can paralyze us into doing nothing. Like, sometimes when that goal is so big, like, oh my God, I'm going to use money because money is so easy to measure. Let's say it's like, I want to make $100,000 in my side business, right? Okay, well, when I was broke and people were telling me to say, I want to make $100,000, I want to make $100,000, I was like, sure, I'd say it, but I wouldn't mean it. And we don't attract what we think about, we attract what we feel strongest about. And me even saying I'm going to make $100,000 brought up the feelings of how my lights are currently shut off, I have no gas in my car squeaks on every block, you can hear me coming from a mile away. So now the feelings are way more stronger towards my lack than my abundance. And so sometimes you just have to reverse engineer the big goal. $100,000 is only $8,333 a month, which is only $277 a day. How many exposures do I need to do in order to make $277 a day? So it's the same thing, let's say, with weight for a woman. If I want to lose 30 pounds, that feels really big to say that number. 30, 50, 100, whatever the number is, the end goal always feels big. Reverse engineer it. Can I focus on 3 to 5 pounds this week? How can I focus on 3 to 5 pounds this week? Work with Lauren, she'll teach you. If for anybody out there listening, Lauren helps people. Lauren's lost over
We're gonna
100
get
pounds.
into that.
She does all of that. But I say that to say, it's literally burning more calories than we intake, and working out, going for a walk in the morning. The hardest part is what we eat.
Yep.
That's literally the hard 90%.
80% of what we look like is what we put inside our body.
Yes, and so when we start learning that, it's like, okay, how can I be good today? Did I say no to the fries today? Did I get a salad instead today? And now there's a running joke. I feel like I've done so many todays. Everybody's like, you don't eat. I'm like, I eat salads and smoothies every day. And
She's become a very, very, very picky eater over these last, I'm going to say 7 years.
I was going to say 10.
Yeah. It started like, first it was like no pork, then no beef, then no chicken, then no fish, then no shellfish. Now no food.
It's salads and smoothies to me, fruits.
For the record, she hasn't eaten since she got here.
Right,
so.
right. Sheesh.
Legit.
So we got a question from the audience
I love
that we want to have you guys
These
answer.
are my favorite questions.
They are my favorite too.
While he's teeing that up, you
teeing
just
it up.
finished a calendar.
Yes! Oh my gosh,
Can we
it's in the
talk
car.
about the calendar?
I bought one.
You didn't bring the calendar
It's
up?
in the car.
Oh my goodness.
But I'm going to go grab it when we
Okay, we can do like a little
little
B-roll
break.
clip.
Yes. That
So
would be
tell me
good.
about the calendar.
So this actually stems from being a professional cheerleader. So it was way more sexualized, by the way. This is like a little kid calendar. Our girls are age 5 to 18. But when we were bikini cheerleader models in calendars, it's pretty spicy, okay? However, this is a cute, adorable, and it's going to tell you the day of the month. First and foremost, just being able to pull from personal experience. I thought it was really, really cool that I got to work with the content Parlor, and you guys took extra incredible care of us. I had 25 girls who got to get their makeup professionally done, and they got to get their individual photos done, and then we did like 12 or 14 group photos, and everything was just done so phenomenally. And what I really love is that you guys curated the time to sit down to look and ask me, what's my vision? How can we create my vision? How can we make it come to life? How can we make it come to light? And I just really appreciate that you guys took the time to see what I was doing, what I wanted, and how you guys were gonna help curate and make it the masterpiece that it is now. And I'm so excited to show you guys because it turned out beautifully. It doesn't hurt that, you have 25 adorable faces, because that's like the selling point right there. But essentially, I always tease and say I'm old in real life. So now I'm old, so I teach. And so I teach young girls how to be cheerleaders. And so coming from that the professional standpoint, it's really, especially I've noticed inside of where I live, North Omaha, is missing. There's a gap where girls will get to their middle school or their high school and they'll want to be cheerleaders, or they want to try out for the team, and they'll never make it because it's like they've never been exposed to dance or acrobatics or gymnastics, or their parents couldn't afford to put them in that. So essentially, I have a really affordable program where we grew up dancing our whole entire life. I am certified to teach jazz, tap, ballet, acro, and pom through the CDTA, which is the Canadian Dance Academy. Because we are Canadian, but dual citizens, but born and raised in Canada. But it's really, really awesome living here in Omaha now to be able to give back to the community and give those girls an experience. And for the fact that the Content Parlor got to be a part of that, I am so super.
We
It was so
are
much
so
fun.
proud to be a part of that. Seriously. So
I cried.
you cried?
I cried. I was with my mom when we saw the video,
Yeah.
and just seeing the look on those little girls' faces, like obviously, and we are weepy people, by the way. So if I start
For
crying,
sure.
just have the Kleenex on deck. But to see little girls that have probably never experienced something like that before,
It's powerful.
it was really powerful.
Oh, to
The
be in a photo shoot too.
Oh, that's what I'm talking
feel like
about.
a model.
Yeah, all
The makeup,
all the parents
the
were like,
smiles.
the girls did not. They talked about the whole ride home. Like they're still talking about. They went to school telling their friends like, I'm going to be in a calendar and I got a photo shoot. And I think what's really, really cool too is like, I really appreciate the trust of the parents, because along comes Canadian, happy-go-lucky, bouncy Lauren, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna be in a photo shoot, and we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do that, and just put these 12 things in a bag and follow me. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So for them to just like follow me blindly into something they've never seen and the girls have never done, and then I'm really excited that it's so beautiful. I cannot wait for you guys to see it. But I know now, like, once you've been through an experience, that you're able to be like, oh, I know what to expect. And I know that the girls who are here this year, next year, they're going to be vets, and they're going to be like, okay, and then we're going to take our individuals, and then we're going to do our group photos, and then this is going to happen.
Yep.
So I'm just really excited for the growth that this will do. But in addition, teaching them how to be little entrepreneurs. So what's really cool about our KAPD cheer program is we've partnered with the WFA, which is the Women's Football Alliance, and that's a professional tackle women's football team. We get to teach them how to be little entrepreneurs. So kind of like, I don't know if you guys, when you were younger, if you had like paper routes or you went door to door and sold chocolate covered almonds or whatever that looked like.
Yeah, we
it's like
definitely
literally
did.
to knock on someone's door and try to make a pitch to somebody. It's like, that takes gumption, that takes courage, it takes tenacity, and especially just like to get a no. You learn through those experiences too, like, nope, not happening. But we're going to be able to take those calendars to the football games. And when people are tailgating and things like that, or during halftime, we'll be able to sell our calendars. So those girls will learn how to become, proud, to be able to stand on their own, to look someone in the eye, to have a conversation, to do a transaction, to keep track. So all of this is teaching them like accountability. It's teaching them personality. It's teaching them to get outside of their shell, because it's not always easy just to walk up to a stranger and start a conversation. Because quite frankly, our whole entire life now with the young girls, they know it's under our supervision, of course. But we're told, don't talk to strangers. Don't talk to strangers. Don't talk to strangers. And then when you get older and you wanna be a podcaster, or you wanna be an entrepreneur, all you have to do is talk to strangers.
Yeah.
It's like, now I have to just break something that's been indoctrinated into my life for my entire life. And so something I'm grateful for, and maybe it's just like, it's a little bit scary, but it's like my sons will like, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You could be a stranger and be like, hey, hi, how are you? This is a nice blouse. Where'd you get it from? It's like they just strike up a conversation because I fostered that in them. Like say hello. When you meet someone, you shake their hand. You hold their hand, you look someone in the eye, and you say, nice to meet you. And you make people feel special and important, because we all are special and we all are important. Like, for God to even have put you inside your mother's womb, that's a blessing in itself. And so we need to treat people like the blessings that they are. And so I put that inside my children, in the sense of, and I want you to be able to be personable. I want you to be able to hold a conversation. And so that's something that we're teaching the girls through action. So even if they just are starting with like, hi, my name is Lauren, would you like to buy a calendar? It's supporting me in doing X, Y, and Z. So it's giving them those also public speaking abilities too, because to stand up and talk to people that maybe that necessarily don't know, that can be frightening. But
yeah. So where can people buy the calendar, and how much will it sell for?
Oh, it's $25, and the best part is the girls make $11 profit. It's $25. You can buy them through Cash App. The Cash App is $ Coach Lauren, so COACHLAUREN with the number 24 on it. It'll be a picture of me actually with this ponytail, holding a shake like this.
Oh, nice.
It says nutrition over diet, so don't knock it till you try it. But you can send $25 there. there. Or you could do PayPal or Zelle, and it's Lauren Ariel, so LAUREN Ariel ARIEL number 2 at gmail.com, and that will get you a calendar. You can pick them up from 3223 North 45th Street. Call me. You might put my phone number on the internet.
We'll put that in the lower
in the
thirds.
description.
So, what if somebody wants to buy a calendar with the check? Because we're planning to buy 10 calendars today in support of the calendar.
They
for
want to see me
2025.
cry. They just want to see me cry.
So we're going to kick things off with the check. We got a blank check here, and we're proud of this. We're super excited to see these girls go the full distance. So we're pledging 10 calendars. To kick
Are we
things
going to
off.
hug on the podcast?
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
Hold on. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Yes, I'm proud of you.
This is so awesome. Oh my G. Oh wait. Oh. Yeah, oh my G. Thank you, God. All glory goes to God. Okay, so like that's.
Is this the first sale?
No.
Oh man, I thought we got to say our first
think I
sale.
was the
We
first sale.
definitely.
Oh, okay,
she was one of my first. Which, actually, no, you were my second sale. So
I feel disrespected. Who was first?
Actually, her name is Artie, and I work out. We work out. She works out with me.
She was in town.
She was in town, and
No, I cash out.
She was like, yeah, she did. I'll tell you how that conversation went, because they get people in your corner also who support you, because that's really important. Artie was just like, I'll take 4. I was like, yes, because she knows that the mission is for the girls, essentially, and this is, you guys can speak to this. I have 25 girls, and we only have 9 uniforms. So all the girls need a uniform. All the girls need bows. All the girls need shoes. We're also fundraising for space. We're currently working out in the lobby, so that's fun. But then also we want to buy mats so that I can start teaching the girls how to tumble.
That's gonna be so fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. And then hopefully the WFA will want to take us on the road with them this season. So we didn't get to go with them to the championship game that they won, but I'm praying that we'll get to go with them to the championship this year, and we'll be able to cheer them on to victory. I always tease and say, like, they were the only team inside the division that had a cheerleading squad, and then they won the championship. I was like, not to say that we had anything to do with it, but they were the only team with cheerleaders. So, just gonna throw that out there. But the funny story about the calendars, I literally texted my sister. I was like, Sarah, I need $25. She was like, Cash App or Zelle. I was like, yo, yes. And then she said, I was like, Cash App. She's like, okay, great. She sent me a screenshot that she sent it. And then I was like, oh, by the way, you get a calendar when you get here. And she's like, okay, yay, I'm so excited for that.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so I literally, when she says thick as thieves, like, yeah, we're going to rob a bank. Not a good idea.
Not a great idea.
How much money are we going to make?
Oh, we can do it.
Sure. All this girl off the bridge, okay? But no, we rock with each other so hard, and I'm just so grateful that I do. We had 70 pre-sales.
Nice.
So this will make 80.
Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
I'm very excited.
I like round numbers.
Yes, round numbers. Our goal is to sell 1,000 by the end of February.
Okay.
And it's going to happen. I feel like a lot of people, just like the store, if someone's like, hey, do you want this plant? You can order it on Amazon. It's like, nah, no thanks. But if someone's like, you could have this plant right now for $25, it's like, yeah, I'll take it. It's cute. It'll look good on my table. Mm-hmm. So I feel like now that we have like the end feeling, I can touch it, feel it, see it. I actually understand what you mean when you said sell a calendar, because most people are like, what? You're selling calendars? I'm like, yeah, we're selling. It's fine.
Pretty good timing, actually.
Yeah, it's super good timing.
So I'm gonna write this out. So what name do I make?
It would be
out
me,
to?
Lauren Keith.
Lauren Keith. That's easy.
Yeah, I'm the LAUREN, and then the last name is
KEI.
Not I before E.
Not I before E. Except,
All right.
Except for you selling Keith. That's so awesome. I just feel like, what can I do now? See, the law of reciprocity. What can I do
Wow.
Can the girls cheer for you guys? Can we make like a welcome tunnel? Can we do a special chant?
We'll be walking into work on Monday.
Yes,
Pull out my phone so quick and start recording that. What you can do right now while I'm filling that out is watch this video from the audience.
Okay.
Hey, Sarah and Lauren, this is Teddy with Content Parlor. Thanks for being on the show. I have 2 questions for you all. Sarah, what inspired you to get into the relationship business? Was there a moment when you knew this is exactly what you were meant to do? And for you, Lauren, you run a business with your spouse, which can't always be easy.
Tell me about it.
One tip you'd share for making that partnership work both at home and at work? Thank you.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Those are some good questions.
You wanna go
You
So
first?
yeah, whoever wants to go first.
You can go first. Okay, so Brett, I run a business with my husband, so we own a sports performance company. And you're right, it is not always easy, especially because I always tease and say, at the gym he's the boss, at home I'm the boss. So I literally have you. If in real advice that I would give would be know your role, and I know that it's tough, especially because I trust my husband wholeheartedly, and as the head of our household, I know that inside of our business, he wants the best for us. And we've done business for so long with one another that it's almost like, well, if it fails, it's going on you. That feels good. And if it succeeds, I'm so happy to be your biggest cheerleader and celebrate all of your successes because at the end of the day, it all comes back to the house. But really just knowing your role. And essentially, if ever we feel like it's getting in the way, I would say like we have hats that we wear. And so I will address him as like, okay, Coach Kenton. Like, so he knows I'm talking to him as like an employee of the business or a partner of the business. And when I say Coach Kenton, he knows it's like, this is not your like naggy, annoying wife telling you to do something. This is your business partner making a suggestion, or this is your business partner that is looking to change something or implement something or curate something. But at the end of the day, I really feel like me and my husband are best friends. And so we both have each other's best interest at heart. And I feel like in our household and inside of our business, I hear 50-50 everything. And that's one bubble I want to burst. It's always 100-100. We always bring our best every single day. And even, maybe not even financially. Some months that might be zero for me. Some months that might be zero for him, right? It's like you do the best you can to take care of your role inside of your responsibilities. So inside of the gym, working with my spouse, it's awesome because he's my best friend. And maybe that's just like so sappy, but I love his face and I love working with him. I feel like the hardest thing for me to do is not act like I'm his wife at work, because we are very lovey, touchy individuals. And sometimes, especially because we work with a lot of women and we work with a lot of single women, it's never in a sense of, oh, I want to flaunt my relationship in front of your face. But even if you see a beautiful thing and you're like, okay, guys, like seriously, I'm not here to see you guys make out like while I'm trying to do my thing while I'm here. So I feel like that's the hardest thing, is for me to like remove the wife title. I am just your business partner. Please, sir, I am not talking to you. That is inappropriate. We do not touch each other or look at each other fondly. We are just here working with one another.
And see her reliving it in her head.
Literally.
It's probably so.
Should see when we're on FaceTime. I'm like, okay, go be a wife and a mom. Bye. Like literally, because he will go right into the screen.
He does that to
right
mess with
here.
her, though. He does
I'm
that
like,
to mess with
what is happening? I'm
He's like, let me give you a
FaceTiming
glimpse of what your future could look like.
Maybe.
Is he always
Maybe not.
that way?
Who knows?
But yeah, that's my best advice. Know your role and stay inside of it. And as far as like, you guys get to choose, because we honestly, especially inside of our business, I'm more of like the clerical, analytical, make the schedule, keep things in tune, and my husband's more like the visionary. This is where we're going. This is what we're achieving. This is how we're going to get there. And so he draws the vision, and I
make it
plain. Yeah, for sure.
I love that.
And do you need to hear that again, that question?
I think what inspired me to get into the relationship business, I love people.
Yeah.
And I have a very keen understanding for the way that people operate. And I think that our mother, from the day we came out of the womb, has made us critical thinkers. And so I'm always looking at why, how, if, and how can I make this incredibly hard thing really simple. Even inside of business, I created this thing called Strive for 5, and that took my first business from $250,000 to $1 million in 6 months. And it was just 5 really simple steps.
Took my business from $1 million to $1.5.
Yes. So it really changes things when you understand that everything is really simple. People are really simple. And when we understand the come from, like Lauren was saying, and we understand that people just want to feel heard, acknowledged, seen. That's it. We all just want to feel that. We want to feel heard, we want to feel acknowledged, we want to feel seen. And if you know that my come from is with love, and you know that my come from is, like, when I say come from, I mean if you ultimately know that I only want what's best for all of us, I only want what's best for the colony, then there's no space to get offended or, all of the crazy stuff that happens in relationships. So I would just say that's how I got inspired. I never thought I would be doing this, to be honest. I thought that I would be doing anything else, to be honest. Maybe acting, directing, speaking still, yes, but I never thought I'd be a podcaster. Like
It suits her.
I never even imagined, but it's like, tell God your plans and he laughs. Like I thought I knew exactly what I would be doing at this point in my life, and it's so different, but it's so right. It just fits. So that's how I got into it. And I also feel like I've always been the person that people come to for relationship advice. And I should also say, this is the longest I've been single since I was 15 years old. True. And it's by choice.
How long have you been single?
A year and a half.
Can I ask that?
A year and a half.
I said not long.
Yeah, I've been.
Year and a half, that's not long.
That's long for me.
That's long
too.
for me.
Yeah.
I'm always like in the next, and then it's like years, like the next person.
Yeah.
And so what I'm learning is right now, because it used to be the man that was most persistent would win. Unfortunately. Yeah, and that doesn't necessarily leave a lot of space for like alignment and purpose. It's like, oh, you work the hardest, okay, you win. And now it's like, no, I need alignment. I need purpose.
So that's the key now,
joy.
is alignment.
That's the most. Are our core values similar enough? Are our foundations close enough? Do we want the same thing? Because, life is going to change. Things are going to happen. But who we are inside of that, what does that look like? How do you fight? Like, are you attacking me or are we attacking the problem? Are you, like the Gottman theory, are you guys familiar?
Yes.
We started therapy. We didn't end up going.
Oh.
We didn't really end
Did you
up
go
needing
through
it.
the Gottman Institute?
Well, the gal was Gottman certified.
Yes.
And she had us take like this test
Yes.
to evaluate where we were. It was really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. We didn't end up going through it, but
It's really great.
I have heard
Can you break that down for the audience?
yeah, actually, yeah. Tell me.
So the Gottman theory talks about how there are what he calls the 4 horsemen. And if you have these 4 horsemen in your relationship, you're almost guaranteed to fail. And this is talking above 90%. I think it's like 97%, because he's been doing these studies for over 30 years. So he said within a year, 5 years, 7 years, 15 years, 30 years, we can tell whether a relationship will end because the writings are on the wall. And those 4 things are contempt, criticism, stonewalling, and defensiveness. So contempt, which is the worst of all 4, is when you put yourself above your partner. So that's where you're like, I'm
better than you.
Yeah, I'm better than
You're
you in
lucky
every way.
to have me.
Yeah, and you have that
Kinda.
energy
No, just-
inside of your relationship, and that's really hard. The criticism, obviously, when you're always picking, and I think in work too, we have to do a better job. Like even me with my team, we do what's called a sandwich, right? I'm going to give you positive reinforcement. I'm going to give you the criticism. I like to say create what could be better. And then I give you something positive on the end. Most people are always focusing on what they don't do right. So if I'm like let's say you finally took out the trash. Yeah, but it was waiting. You finally did it, but it took you 3 days longer and the house was stinking. Like, damn, can you just celebrate the fact that he took out the trash?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that's going to make him want to do that more. Stonewalling is when you shut down. So this is where I can't take in anything. It's like talking to a wall. And I actually experienced in one of my relationships, highly effective, international, been translated in Greek, Spanish, freaking Portuguese, been to every state in America speaking on leadership, self, and business development. I was stonewalling. in my most recent relationship, my last relationship. And so what's crazy is I learned that the way that people attack you, or the way that they are contemptuous, or the way that they might shut down, or narcissistic traits, all of these different things, they can even shut down someone that I feel like I'm very highly effective in communicating. And they say stonewalling usually shows up within 2 years of your relationship. It showed up for me in like 4 months.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Wow.
Like that's how attacked I felt all the time.
Crazy, or was he?
So that was a crazy relationship. And then the last one is defensiveness, which is where you can't take in any of the
Constructive
feedback.
criticism.
Yeah, it's like, no, you're so bought into the way that you see yourself that you can't no one else can see me any other way. So no, I'm defensive. Hey, you know what? Your breath stinks. No, it doesn't. I just brushed my teeth. Okay, I was trying to tell you the halitosis is kicking in. You know what? Whatever it may be. Like I'm like you have to be open and susceptible to what your partner has. So if you have one or one, if you have one or two, work on it. But if you have all four, your relationship is absolutely going to end.
Yeah.
In time.
Yeah, she just described my last relationship.
Oh no.
Ooh.
It's tough because I feel like in relationships too, it's a very it's almost like looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
But more like looking in a mirror of a mirror that can talk back.
Yeah.
And not saying what you're saying. Because it would be like if candid moment. You guys are going to learn something about me today. My husband says I never flush the toilet. And we grew up with 8 kids in our house.
Yeah.
My mom used to say, if it's yellow, let it mellow.
If it's brown, flush it down.
Because could you imagine the toilet with 10 people in one home? And let's say you only peed 3 times a day, times 10, that's 30 tanks of water. And my parents were not rich people.
They were poor.
They were poor. We drank powdered milk, okay? So
right. I ate butter
I didn't realize
sandwiches.
we were poor until after you get into the world. And it's
Yeah,
like,
you don't know.
I
like,
knew.
what? Yeah,
I knew. I wanted to play the piano and I did not ask because I did not think that our parents could afford it. Even though they would have found a way.
They would have found a way. They
always found a way. Yeah.
they did. But anywho, so bad trait of mine, I will pee and not flush. However, I've got a lot better because now I know it bothers my husband. And I'm just like, sure, if you want to pay for 30 tanks. I was like, oh, there's only 4 people who live here. Okay, never mind. There's not 30 tanks of toilet water being flushed all day, every day, and we are not monitoring how many meters of water. Now, inside of that, could my husband criticize me and say, why are you doing this? This is gross. Quit doing it. It's bothering me. Da-da-da-da. You have to take that constructive criticism, right? Now, if he's teaching me something that he doesn't like, inside of a relationship, you also have to be with someone who cares enough about you that A, they're willing to make the change. B, I wouldn't even say willing to listen maybe at first, because I feel like even myself, I'm a ruminator. I will need to let it marinate for a second. Even if you said it harshly or badly or whatever, it just came out like, I'm sick of you not flushing the toilet. Like, oh, it didn't come out like that. But if it had, I probably would have been like, I drink a lot of water and it's barely even yellow. How can you even tell outside of there being a little tissue in the toilet, right? Like, that's where I could have come from. Or I could have been like, listen, my whole life, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. You know where I came from. Like, I'm saving water, save the whales, all the things. Like, it's the bathroom. That's where people are supposed to be, right? But I gotta say to myself, do I love him enough to make the change and course correct? Do I love him enough to care about what he cares about? Do I love him enough to satisfy him? And even though I think it's silly, even though I think, this is something I've done my whole life. So many people will say, well, this is who I am.
Yeah.
This is how I am.
How's
this is
that
what I
working
do.
out for you?
Yeah. How is that working out for you? Right? So to save my husband's sanity and to increase our water bill, I flush the toilet every time I pee now. Good job. And I drink a lot of water. So it's a lot of thank you. I needed that positive reinforcement, okay? So I'm doing the right thing, but inside of relationships, I can see how, in the Gottman theory, things will fail. But I also feel like a lot of times where we don't allow things to either just be, because there are a lot of things that I could probably potentially pick, and vice versa. I'm sure my husband could pick out 1,000 things in a day that he would change or correct and give
I wasn't even thinking about you.
No, I'm just saying.
I was thinking about my team and things that happen on set, and I'm like, just breathe.
Just breathe. Just let it
just
be,
breathe through it.
because it's
People are
not
people.
enhancing. Yeah, people do people-y things. I say this all of the time. It's like they're so people-y, and that's probably Sarah's equivalent to I don't ask questions of things I don't understand, which does drive me crazy. But I say people do people-y things. Oh, why did that person cut me off? I don't know. People do people-y things. Why did this person not flush the toilet? I don't know. People do people-y things. Like, but it's probably coming from a place that I would never understand, and I would probably have to really like put you on the couch and be like, so road rage.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about that.
Fun fact, did you know road rage is a very clear sign of low emotional intelligence?
No
I don't
way.
believe
Yep.
that.
It's the truth.
No, because I know someone who
I'm trying
has
to-
very
Nope,
high
no way.
emotional
I'm trying to
intelligence.
tell you.
Who has road rage?
No, there's
Yeah.
no way. You cannot be emotionally intelligent and get mad at someone cutting you off in traffic. It doesn't even make sense. For what?
It doesn't make sense, but you can comment on it. I don't have road rage.
Road rage is different from commenting.
I probably make people mad because I'm the person who's like slowing down 3 cars behind to let in the guy who I see coming down the shoulder.
Yeah.
It's like they're probably like, what is she stopping for? The guy that I see coming, okay? Just calm down, everyone.
Yeah.
We're gonna
No,
get there.
I'm just telling you, scientifically speaking, it is a very high sign of low emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
I don't trust people that have road rage.
That is the ultimate jab to anybody out there watching this.
If you have road rage, you're emotionally unintelligent.
Yeah, it's a fact.
that should
Quote,
alleviate all
Dr. Sarah Fontenot.
all
Yeah.
road rage.
Yeah, that part.
It's the truth, and that also says you don't have emotional regulation. Why are you mad?
Yeah.
No.
What
Yeah,
are you
there's
really
bigger
mad
things
about?
to be worried
You're
about.
gonna something this small just threw off your whole day.
Right.
I don't understand it.
Pop one of my tin balloons.
Yeah, the
That's
energy
interesting.
balloons.
I've never heard that before.
No, so they
No.
say you have 10 energy balloons in
Through in a day.
And only 10. That's like you're at the capacity. So I can't even remember what book I read, but it was talking about emotional
remember.
intelligence. And inside of that, let's just say I'm grieving the loss of my mother. Not happening. And
That's
I
like
pray that
4
doesn't happen.
balloons.
So I'm
Start-
only starting the day. Listen, I'm only starting the day with 6. And I have road rage and someone cut me off.
Now you have 5.
Now I have 5. Now I spilled my coffee on myself getting out
Because
of the
you
car
had road
Because I
rage.
had road rage. Now I have 4. Now I got to get into work, and Becky, who with the ponytail was bobbing around and said something negative about the work I did. Now I got 3.
And it's
Then
10 a.m.
Yeah, and it's only 10
You only have
o'clock.
3 balloons
done
left.
No, you're done for the day.
It's
Now I'm
over.
negative balloons. Now the next day I'm only starting at 5. So they're talking about regulating your emotions and what you are wasting your balloons on, essentially. So
Yeah.
don't waste your energy or
On things
time
that
or
We
effort
always
on things
say
that are
like
so minuscule.
nothing's really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Everything is no
figure outable.
Everything is
There's
no problem.
always an answer to the problem.
I agree.
Yes, 100%.
Well, we only have 2 more questions
Oh,
for you.
gosh.
Wow.
Probably, like, these girls are
See,
so
our
ready.
answers
We're
were
never
so
having them back.
long. I feel like
they're
we
never, they're never coming back.
They're so
I'm fine.
powerful.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
Actually, there's about 4 of them you
Oh,
answered for
yeah,
me.
we
So I was
will
like,
answer.
we'll just
Oh,
skip
I
that.
love that
Great,
for us.
great.
One was about, politics and personal brand. You answered that.
Not
Yeah,
doing
don't
that.
don't mix them.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
that
unless
clears
it's a
that
part of
up.
your brand.
Don't do them. Yeah.
But yeah, so this is probably a Sarah question.
Okay.
What is your favorite social media platform and why?
Instagram.
Instagram?
Yeah, probably Instagram. Yeah, probably Instagram.
Is it because that's the one you're the most popular on, or is there a reason
She's really
why?
popular on TikTok too, though.
Okay.
I would say
She's laughing. She's like, yeah, I am.
No, I
I'm kind of popping.
no, I would say people are different. So as an example, I'm partnered with Country Wayne, for those that don't know, and so we do about 250 million views a month,
Okay.
which is these skits stream more than Power. Like
Uh-huh.
what Wayne has created is incredible, and the opportunities that he's
Goodness.
created.
Yeah, he's on
is even more wild.
Netflix now. I
Yeah,
saw.
he has a special. He's about to have another one, and
Okay.
he's doing a lot of really amazing things. And so
Dope.
on that platform, people are mean.
Really mean.
They're just mean.
I stopped reading the comments because in my head, I know it's fake. It's almost like watching an episode of Friends. It's not real. But people literally will go in there, and I started reading the comments, and me being her big sister, I just want to be like, you know what? You're ugly, and you're wrong. And that is not right. Like, I want to, clap back at all the people, and I'm like, these probably are
And I was
just,
like,
not
yeah,
even
I don't
real
even read
people that
comments.
are bots. I just make my little comment. I once saw a comment from Mom. First of all, our mom...
She's never on social media.
My mom doesn't social media. However, she's got a Facebook from like 100 years ago. But now that Sarah, my sister's, she'll send her skit into our family chat so everyone can go easily watch it, right? And we can comment and interact and all the things. I once went to go comment and I saw my mom. My mom's comment was like, you know what, you guys, just shut up because I am enjoying this. And we know it's not real, it's fake. So if you don't like it, just keep going. I can like hear my mom's voice like, just scroll off of it because you're ruining the experience for the people who are enjoying it. Okay, bye. I'm like, oh my God.
I love it.
I want to come behind her. I actually commented to her comments like, period.
And I never
that's how I
comment.
feel like I want to just personally cut each and every single one of these negative comments. Like, I'd like to see you do better, but you couldn't even do better if you wanted. And you're not even on TV.
So I feel like the audience is different from the different platforms. I feel like TikTok, they're in the middle. YouTube is kind of like cool, but Instagram, I think what I get the most on TikTok and Instagram is like, protect this girl at all costs, like protect her. And what I love about Instagram is, so that's TikTok. Instagram, if someone comes for me in my comment section, and I don't read comments very often, but people attack the people that attack me.
I love that.
I feel very protected on Instagram. So even women that'll say, oh, she's a pick-me. First and foremost, who doesn't want to be chosen? I don't understand. And also, you can't call me a pick-me till you know what I'm saying no to. You know, the disrespect. But that's okay. That's fine. No problem. Everything is figure outable and everything
That
is
was
no
like
problem.
a subtle bar right there. People
It's
just
real.
missed that one.
Yeah.
Well, I just...
And if you actually knew,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But one day when I pop out married, then everybody might be like, oh,
I get it.
It
There we
made
go.
sense what she was saying. We're right here. But I do feel very protected on Instagram, and I feel like my tribe is there. Like they get it, you know? And even the people that don't get it, they don't come to my page. Now, I will say we have a pretty big interview that's dropping on Friday. I don't know when this is dropping, but it's dropping on like the Friday after Thanksgiving.
No, I won't drop that soon.
Okay, well,
Probably next week.
well then I'll say there's an interview that's
Can I say it, or am I not allowed to say it?
I don't know.
This is a
Dropped last Friday.
It's a Cam Newton interview. So Cam Newton invited her to be on his show. And
Yeah,
that's
so I just did
dropping
his
on Friday.
podcast. Thank you.
Congrats.
So
That's
thank
amazing.
you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Just 4 hours long.
It was,
Was he wearing a hat? Was he wearing a hat?
Of course, he was wearing the hat. So now, and that I'm getting exposed to bigger platforms, it's like, okay, those people don't know me. So now I'm really curious to see, you know, these bigger platforms that we're cross collaborating and doing all the things. I'm interested to see like what's gonna seep in? Will I still be as protected, or are the angry people gonna come out?
That's a good point.
Yeah, and Cam said before we started shooting, he said, I hope you're ready for what's about to come. I said, well, good or bad, I don't care. Because I stand on my truth,
Yeah,
you know?
I know he asked some tough questions too. We don't get that heavy on this podcast.
She's like, yeah.
We had a really good conversation.
Okay. Y'all go check out Cam's podcast.
Yeah, Funky Friday.
Funky Friday, yeah. Okay, so that's good to know. So, want to play a quick little game to cap off the show here.
Okay.
It's called red flag, green flag, and beige flag. Have you heard of this
No,
before?
but it sounds self-explanatory.
You want to break it down, or you want me to break it down? Okay, I'll break it down. So, a beige flag is like not a deal breaker, but it's like a dislike, kind of. And then, so green flag, obvious. Red flag, obvious, right?
Yeah.
So, let's start with the red flags. What is... I'm gonna save Sarah for last.
Okay.
What's a red flag, your biggest red flag in a relationship?
In a relationship,
Yeah.
I don't know. A biggest red flag?
With your husband.
Oh, he didn't have many red flags. He had like more green flags.
Okay,
Get
sir.
something.
Okay,
When
sir.
you met him?
When I met him,
consult
I guess.
with homie.
Okay, there was a red flag, but it wasn't my red flag. When I met him, everyone was like, "Don't date him. He's a professional football player. There's gonna be another notch on his nightstand. He doesn't like you like that for real. You just the cheerleader that everybody wants to do, and he wants to do you too. That's gonna be the end of it." That's not the story he was telling me. Now, mind you, men lie. Women lie, okay? However, time doesn't lie. So like Sarah said, make them wait. And he waited very patiently and was very persistent for an entire year. I'm talking this man.
You made him wait for a year?
Yes.
Wow.
He was the guy buying. He was buying my mom flowers.
Oh my gosh.
He was bringing me diamond earrings to my job with the chicken sandwich inside an A&W bag. He called my sister and said, "What's your sister's birthstone?" And she's like, "A diamond." He's like, "Stop playing." And she's like, "Nah. She's born in April. Like,
Right.
That's her birthstone." And I was like, "That's right. Diamonds are my birthday." However, in that time, we got to know each other, and we're literally like the best of friends. So I would say that was a red flag, was his profession, only because, and that sucks for him, right? Because that would just be like, we're not what we do, we're who we are. And yes, he played professional football. And yes, there's a stigma around being the hotshot football player. And yes, there are girls throwing themselves at you. And yes, he could probably have picked anybody he wanted. And maybe that he said that made him that like me more. That I was the one being like, no, not happening.
That's so
not
cool.
Today, not ever. I actually are.
Not ever.
Yeah, not ever. Yeah, and then look now, 21 years later, our 16-year-old once, he asked, he was like, "Mom, did Mom ever reject you when you were trying to like get with her?" He's like, "Yes, all the time." And then my son said, "Well, like, how did you win her over?" And he's like, "I shined on her with my success." I'm like, you are so, like, you know what? I'm not going to put you on blast. I'm going to let you have that one, okay? Yes, baby, just shine on them with your success.
Taking notes.
Keep showing up. But, like, as far as red flag, that was really the only red flag in the sense of outside elements were telling me, don't be with him. This is how it's going to end. Look at how it's ended for the other 1,000 girls. It's just, that's who's to say you're special or any of that. But like him getting to like us spending so much time together and getting to know one another, and then it's like when you add the physical part, it's like, yeah, I see why this thing works. Yeah,
Okay.
like we love each other for real.
And he played for the Colts.
Yeah, he played for the Colts,
Yeah.
the Jets.
He played for the Jets too. That's right.
Yeah, and then he also, Regina, Saskatchewan, they have a professional team. They're called the Rough Riders, Saskatchewan Rough Riders. And so how he met me, I don't know how we probably stuck out like a sore thumb. My sister hated him.
Didn't
I
like
hated
him.
all the players. I
Do you
was
like him now,
You're
though?
all hoes. No.
No.
No, my husband, she loves him now.
Oh, do I love him now? Yes.
She thought you were saying
I thought you were saying the players. I was like,
Yeah, the
no.
play. Oh, okay.
No.
The players, no. My husband, they had...
When Caprice was born, we hugged.
Oh my gosh, they literally
Big
hated
piece.
each other the whole
time.
6 years.
Yeah.
And then when I gave birth to my son, this is the cutest story ever.
I cried.
She cried. She's not a crier. Well,
I
we're
am a
emotional.
crier
She's a
now.
crier. My husband's not a crier, and he cried. But you can only have so many people in the room when you're giving birth. You know this.
Facts.
My husband was in the room, a couple nurses in the room, my mom was in the room, so I was only allowed to have those two. And so my sister was literally like coming to the door every time. They're like, "Ma'am, go back to the waiting room. Like, get your butt." And she's like, "Okay, but I just want to see," like, and for like the 87th time that she came to just check near the door, the baby came out, and Ken came out of the room, and Sarah was right there, and they both were like, they hugged and embraced one another.
That's
and
cool.
from that moment, but that was 6 years in.
Yeah.
And that broke
I give
the
him a
ice.
hard time
From there,
for a long time.
From there, they loved each
But
other.
now he's giving me my podcast name. He's
Yes,
talking about ideas, you know. It's-
Shout out Ken.
a good big brother.
Dang.
Good big brother.
Creative and
And he's
everything.
actually very protective over Sarah.
Yeah.
I feel like we need to have him come back and we need to do a you two together.
Oh, that would be
it.
so
We
fun.
do.
Wouldn't that be fun?
really
I would
do.
love that.
Highly would
I would love
suggest.
it. Yeah.
So,
suggest.
for you, Sarah.
My biggest red flag?
Yes.
I have several.
Uh-oh.
She's like,
Give
all
us
of the
the
things.
top 3.
A weak man is a dangerous man.
She
What's
doesn't
a
mean
weak
physically
man?
weak.
I mean a man that is seeking validation outwardly, a man that doesn't know who he is, a man that hasn't found his purpose, a man that projects insecurity, a man that is just weak. Like it's just it's weak. Ugh. Even when I think about it, I'm like, ugh, like shake it off, gross. I don't respect a weak man. Another red flag would be someone that's condescending. Like our mother always taught us, make friends everywhere you go. And so at the grocery store, like it's so easy to find something you love on someone and to compliment them on it. Like your eyes are just stunning and the makeup is giving. And it's so easy when it's true. And I can't stand when people have this ego and they talk down to people, because now I'm going to puff up and make you look crazy. And I don't want to do that, you know, because people are people, and we get to love them, and you never know what you say and how that could really affect somebody's day, you know, so why not make it good?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And the last thing that I would say, if I only get 3, I'm like, which one do I choose?
Just everything's red flag.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Definitely weakness. And you know what?
You don't call your mother red flag.
That's a red flag. My God, you don't call your mom.
Guys that don't call their mom.
That's not my red flag, but it's
I was gonna say,
weird.
who doesn't call their mom?
That's
There's
weird
guys
to
that
me,
do
though.
that?
It's definitely
there are
weird
guys
if you
that
don't call your mom.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, she's alive and you don't call her. Strange.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's really strange. But honestly, if I were to think of a red flag, a man that doesn't know God. Because the truth is, ultimately, life is hard, and we're all gonna drop the ball, and we're all flawed, and we're all going to mess it up. But God is the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes if life gets really hard, like, don't you dare chill and sit in the dark. And someone asked me before, and they were like, well, Sarah, does that mean a man can't have a downtime? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means you can't be more committed to your BS than you are to understanding that this is just a season.
Yeah.
Because we all go through seasons. And so if you don't have that desire to evolve, or the desire to want to be better, do better, have better, and show up like that, a man that knows who he is, like, he's him. I love a man that's him. At least, like, to me, it's like an essence thing. It's so, yes, chef's kiss. But I would definitely say those 3. If you don't know God, if you are weak, well, you're probably weak if you don't know God, to be honest.
Fair.
Because you don't have a barometer for real. And then you're condescending. That's also weak. Those are all weak things.
Yeah.
So ultimately, know God. That's the number 1 red flag. If you don't know God, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
That's good stuff. So guys, go out there, update your dating profiles to say, I know God. I called my mom today.
And I would
just
never
don't
talk
be
down to anyone.
Yes, just don't be condescending.
Yeah. Ugh.
All right, good. Gosh, what was the word you used? You used gumption.
Yeah.
Have the gumption, man. Have the gumption.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to green flags. So conversely, since you got so many, what's 3 things that are like green? Like, yes, yes, yes.
Do you want to go first?
Sure. My green flags, and always what I admire about my husband: loving, attentiveness, and loyal. Like, he's such a loyalty's, and I didn't realize we're so like that. But like, loyalty is everything. And I just feel like, I don't know, he chooses me at every chance. And there's never ever been like a distraction. Like, don't get me wrong, yeah, there are beautiful people, there are beautiful women, there are beautiful men. Like, heck, we're going to comment on it. But I always say he has like this superpower where he makes me feel like the most beautiful woman in the entire world. It's like everyone else pales in comparison to my beauty, no matter.
I mean, you're also stunning, so that helps.
I mean, according
Major
to
eye
him,
roll.
sure, yeah, major eye roll. According to him, I was like, he makes me feel like the greatest good he could ever do is have me as his wife, and that is
That's
a major green flag inside of our relationship. He's always at any size, at any, even like he'll say funny stuff like, even when I was mad at you, I still like was attracted to you, or he'll say dumb little stuff like, you were cutting up, but I really just wanted to, like, I don't know, grab you and kiss you and just be like, it's like, ha, but I'm mad right now.
Stab you
That's
with
right. You don't get to do that. No, but yeah, so loyalty, and he's just like the compassion that he shares, not just for me, but for everyone around. I feel like you can really tell the character and testament of a human being on how they treat other people.
Yep.
Not just how they treat you.
Yep.
So it's so endearing for me to see how well he takes care of his mother, how well he cares and really makes sure that he's reaching out to his cousins and his friends and his family and his sons and who he is as a coach and his teammates. Like, he's the guy who creates messenger chats with him and all his teammates so he can check on everybody at the same time, and he's the guy who curates community. So like he started a famo chat like with all of his cousins. So like if we ever want to have a get together, if something's happening inside of someone's life, we can say like, hey, so and so celebrating a birthday. But he was the one who started that. So like having that compassion and care for other human beings is
Top notch.
Top tier. So
Okay, so
I'm very
loving,
impressed.
attentive, loyal,
Yeah.
and empathetic.
Yeah.
Lael?
Yeah.
Is there an
Lael.
acronym? That's
You
good.
might have just invented one.
Yeah, that's good. So yourself?
Green flags. Oh, there's so many. I have to say, I love a man that's not pressed. Because this is the thing, there's beautiful women everywhere. You're going to find, like, there are so many more women that are far more beautiful than me, far better bodies than me, far better all of the aesthetic things than me, 10,000%. And for a man not to be pressed that those women are around, like almost like dust them off, it's so attractive to me. Because he acts like he's been here before. You know, if you're drooling over every woman that you see, it's giving thirst. It's giving, do you need a drink? I can get you some water. You know, it's giving parched. it's not giving for me. So that is very attractive. A man that is disciplined. I don't think there's anything more attractive to me than self-control. Because inside of self-control, that's the ultimate level of self-respect. When you can control what you put into your body, what you put your body into. If you catch my drift.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like the level of exclusivity, like really just controlling all that's in without, and you don't care what anybody else has to say. I also love a man that like, and this is probably preference, and it's also, I don't know if they're gonna like it, but I'm just gonna say it. I like a man with some dog in him, like a green flag. Would you kill for me?
Not are you a murderer?
Could you do it? Could you do it though? I just want to know, do you have it in you? Because I think I got it in me.
That's a measure.
Like if it comes down to my family, they say never say never. I believe in that. I'm never gonna say never. Could my man do the thing?
The unthinkable.
Could he do
that
the
is something
unthinkable?
you have to measure.
And then having a barometer with God, can you come back to baseline? Because maybe you feel crazy for doing the thing. But can you regulate
You do the thing
and bring it back? We still got us. Like we got us. Period. I live by that. And the last one that I'll say is, oh man, there's so many that are just flooding my mind. He's not pressed.
He's got some dog.
He definitely needs to have some
Discipline.
dog.
That's a good. That's
self-control,
more like
self-discipline.
protection, though, because you gotta gauge that. As a woman,
Yeah.
period, I feel like innately protection is a huge thing. So it's like can I walk tall next to you? Do I have to be scared?
Yeah.
Like if we hear something, are we both running? I'm like, or am I safe?
Yeah.
Like, are my children safe? Like, but that's not something like is at the forefront of your mind. I think.
Yeah.
But I think just innately, it'd be like, could this guy do
The thing.
the thing if I needed him to do the thing?
And respect.
Respect. That's a good
Respect is so, like, my core values in a relationship. People are like, what are your type? My type? Safety,
Respectful.
security, respect, emotional intelligence, emotional regulation, openness, and honesty. That's what I need in a relationship. And I won't settle until, it's not even settling. I won't choose until it's that, or I won't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, I feel complete. Like, I feel very, I
what
love my
package
life.
that comes in doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. And Lauren will say she doesn't think any of my exes are attractive,
Then
which I
I'm not
rebuke
a
in the name of
sage.
Jesus.
There's only one.
Only
What's
one.
his
I
name
won't
start
say
with?
a B.
Was he tall?
Yeah.
Abs?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was handsome.
He was handsome.
He was very handsome.
The only one ever.
I like low-key when I ask for pictures so I can see.
I'm gonna show you after.
Famous
He was
person.
so
Name starts with a
Everybody
B.
else,
I think I
everybody
have
else
a lot of cute
was
ones.
in the cast of the Gremlins. after you poured water on them, okay? Not before the water. After you poured water on them, they would fit right in there.
The disrespect.
Sorry, God, that's what.
Oh, no.
I mean, I'm not
Okay,
kidding.
wow.
I'm not sorry. You all know who you are.
We're gonna figure out who this
I'm
guy
not
is.
sorry.
No, she's talking about several. That's the
Several.
problem.
What
The
you
cast of
said
the
with
Gremlins.
this guy? Name starts with a B.
Oh,
tall.
He's attractive.
He was handsome.
He's
That
got
was the-
abs
I think
and
they
he's
were all
probably successful. Who could that be?
Yeah, no,
Can we figure that out? I think the Chat GPT could probably help.
I got it on my phone.
That's the only remotely attractive one. Everybody
Yeah.
else, gremlins.
No, I feel like
After the water.
You know, though, I don't like an excessively attractive man.
Yeah.
I just don't.
I get that.
The
I'm more of a
entitlement is
personality girl.
Well, even if you have
feel like you can have
personality,
both.
but you're
can.
excessively attractive, she's talking about her husband. Even if you do, I feel like the entitlement. You know,
not entitled.
no, it's like pretty privilege. Like
He's pretty, but he's not privileged.
yeah, I just can't.
Do you think guys are settling then? They're just picking for the same reasons they're settling
A
for
lot of people
for
period,
looks,
settle.
for just looks, or yeah, because or I guess the question is, does the same rule apply to guys?
No, I think men value an aesthetic far more than women do. So women will choose a man that's 6 inches shorter, 100 pounds overweight, makes good money. That ultimately, innately, women want safety and security. Most women, most feminine women that want masculine men. That's not for everybody, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Most men want to look at something that they want to see.
Yeah.
So I think that, and I say this all the time, like, do the best with your genetic potential, and do the best with your genetic potential.
Adjust your body type.
I personally, like, it's been weird for me because I've continued to grow in my success, and I feel like I believe that the attractiveness of women has I think I attract like more attractive women, but the values and the character
Are lacking.
are like off.
I feel like
And it sometimes it's church girls.
They be the worst.
And it just has me scratching my head. It's like when I was making $20,000 a year, I was doing great. Now it's like
what is happening?
really pretty with no.
They're entitled.
No, so
Yeah,
no,
what
this
is
is
modern
the
day
thing.
entitled
I feel like especially and not to it's tough because beauty is in the eye of the beholder, right? And when I find
But
people-
also, there's universal beauty.
Also, there's universal beauty. So
Yeah.
let's just talk about universal beauty for a moment, if we shall. So let's say that you find universal beauty attractive because you might not. You might think garbage truck juice is the most beautiful thing you've ever seen.
juice.
Okay, so right, there's no right or wrong. We're just out
you
here
like.
in the world. Okay, you like what you like. Let's pretend that you really liked universal beauty, which is symmetry. Typically, is
Yep.
when you're symmetrical. That's what's beautiful.
Yep.
All right.
Scientifically speaking, this is proven.
Yes, this
Yes.
is proven. So we have scientific beauty. Now, that pretty privilege that we had just touched on, essentially it's like you've lived your whole life entitled. And what is actually, it's so sad because there's twofold. First fold, as a beautiful woman, and I consider myself a beautiful woman, not with like a chip on my shoulder or, oh, I'm better than anyone else, but universally, I've been told my whole life that you're pretty or you're beautiful or you're gorgeous.
This just
Thank
happened
you.
for me 10
You
years
have a lot
ago.
of symmetry in your face.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
she's stunning.
Thank you.
This just happened for me 10 years ago is when I thought 15 years ago is when I thought I was pretty.
Yeah, you're
6 years old.
Nobody
Yeah,
liked
6
me
exactly, 6
growing up.
So nobody. did
Everyone
either.
liked her.
Not even
Every
true. And who had her
single
boyfriend
person
first?
liked her. Yeah, me.
Okay.
But he was like,
So, there's that. Anyhow, we're getting off the point. The point is symmetry,
Yes.
okay, and beauty. As a beautiful woman, it's sucky because you get a lot of attention, but it's the wrong attention.
Yep.
It's not the, oh, I wonder how smart she is or how
Yep.
many books she's read or
Yep.
I wonder if she's funny or I would love to big spoon, little spoon with her or I would love to take her to a ballet.
that's
or
why I had a boyfriend first. Ha! You just proved my point.
No. Okay.
Baby!
We're not
Back to
getting
you.
back
Back to you,
We're
sorry.
focusing. We're
Yep.
focusing.
Yep.
Okay. So as the pretty girl, you're almost groomed to that all you have to offer is your beauty.
Yep.
And the world is also telling you because you're beautiful, you can get a famous person or a person. Well, I guess I kind of did prove that point. However,
I'm telling you.
it happened in a weird way. Not that. What I'm saying is, even our grandmother, when we were young.
Yep. Go ahead and say it. And
No,
it was
when
my
I said
grandmother is our big
we're
mama.
not in a comparison. When I said, Grandma, I want to be a doctor, she said, don't be a doctor, marry a doctor.
You know what she
so
said
it's
to me?
like in that advice.
Go ahead and say what she said to me.
She said, you better go ahead and work real hard.
In school. That's what my grandmother said to me.
Yeah, that was pretty rude. But that was more based on
super
Sarah.
rude.
Yeah, Sarah used to play outside a lot, and her pigmentation was a lot browner than mine at that time. She avoids the sun now. But however, my grandmother was like born in the 1800s.
Colorism. She had colorism.
So she's like, the lighter you are, the more successful you'll be. So of course, I was the prettier of the two daughters if I'm lighter skinned. But we won't get into that.
Colorism.
Anywho, that being said, when you're looking at symmetry and beauty, women are in that same sentence. Don't be a doctor, marry a doctor. I am then taught, I'm happy that my mother is smarter than that, but society teaches you, I don't have to be smart.
Yep.
I just have to be pretty.
Yep.
And so if I'm pretty, I don't have to have substance.
Yes.
And if I'm pretty, I can get the guy who has money.
Yep.
And if I'm pretty, I don't have to learn anything. I don't have to read any books. I don't have to, look, I don't cook and I don't clean, but let me tell you how to got this ring. I'm just going to use my prettiness and my body. And that's how I'm going to win in this world. So it's almost like, these new generation people or women are groomed to just be stupid, and they're groomed, I said it, they're groomed to just go get the BBL, they're groomed to just go get the liposuction, they're groomed to just go get the Botox, they're groomed to just get that pretty wig, they're groomed to just get the lip injections, they're groomed to just get the prettiest thing so that I can peacock myself around and get what it is that I want, which is safety and security by getting a man who has money, can buy me whatever I want based off my prettiness. So, that being said,
So shallow.
It's so
so true.
shallow.
It's so true.
It's like learn to like live and be a human.
That part.
Have some substance.
Yes,
but they don't.
It's the substance of it all.
And the crippling part of it all is that, like, most beautiful people don't know how to work hard.
it's true.
But oddly enough, most beautiful people, did you know that women who wear makeup make 30% more money than those who don't?
No, I did not know
It's
that.
crazy.
It's because when you're more attractive, and this is scientifically proven, like, I hope that no one at home is like, oh, well, it's over for me. Maybe put on some mascara. I don't know. I don't know the answer. But what I do know is ultimately,
Money if I wear makeup
I don't
to the
know.
office every day.
I'm just like, you literally you get paid more. The more attractive you are, you have better jobs, you have more opportunities. And the craziest part is you don't even have to be that good at your job.
Yeah.
But by just having more attractive people around, it brings more opportunities because we live in a shallow world, which is why I say from the beginning, don't just cheat. There's a cheat code to the system.
Yeah.
Do the best with your genetic potential.
Yeah.
That's really all that it comes down to. And we can call it shallow, and it is. We could call it stupid, and it is. Or we could be that, and we could cheat the system by actually bringing value and substance at the same time. Like, because that's what, as Mom would say, that's what makes you a platinum needle in a haystack.
Yeah.
A beautiful face is a dime a dozen.
Yeah, but you can't just, my mom also says, you can't just be pretty.
Yeah,
You can't
of course.
And,
need to
and
be
and the
smart.
funny thing is, she said that not like in a kind of a condescending way. Like, so if you couldn't figure something out, like say if we're just like, hey, what color is the sky? And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, you can't just be pretty, honey. You gotta be smarter than that. What color is it? Is the sky blue or is it, what's going on? Like, you should know that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So anytime it was like something you should know, it's like, no, you can't just be pretty. Like, there's gotta be something between the ears there. That's
Yeah.
like it's not gonna cut it.
You know, also, I feel like,
Mom actually said to me the other day, sorry, not to
No.
intrude, critical thinking.
yeah,
My mom did It's Giving podcast.
she did
And
the
She
podcast.
did. It was very exciting.
Yes.
And I was telling her how poised and how smart and how beautiful she always is. That's my mom 100%. And I was saying about people were making comments and we were commenting about the comments. And she's like, sometimes I really just think, she's like, do you remember the critical thinking thing? Because I was literally laughing because I know these two people who are sitting on the couch and I'm watching the interview. And I used to hate asking my mom for help because I would say, Mom, what's 2 + 2? And she'd say, well, in 1587, when something like that. Mom, I don't care when math was invented, okay? Just tell me the answer to 2 + 2. And she would make you critically think of everything,
Here's
of every
two
outcome.
rocks.
And here's two more.
pennies.
Put them
And
together. Yeah,
count
so-
it up.
It's horrible. Horrible and great. Like, I can appreciate it now, but growing up, I just was like, just give me the answer for the love of God. But it's just like, you can't just be pretty. So inside of that critical thinking, Mom said to me when we were driving, I said, Mom, I hated it. I can appreciate it now because I can figure things out. And my mom always said, if if someone tells you no, you're talking to the wrong person. And you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Period.
So start out real sweet, but you might have to be like, no,
Get a
baby,
little
if
tart.
you can't help me, somebody else. But she said, I literally had to battle a duality. She said, when you girls got about 8 or 9 years old, I could tell you were going to be very beautiful. And I had to decide, was I going to make you just pretty? Or was I also going to let you be smart? I was like, what a kind of question.
For the
She's
record,
like, because when you're not that smart, you just go through life like la la la. I'm so happy, everything's just going for the grain. And then when you're taught to be smart and you're taught to have critical thinking skills, now you're like, I need social, emotional, mental, of clarity, connection. It's like all of these things. Like
Yeah.
I have standards now because you made me use my brain. Good job, Mom. And then you're holding everyone to these standards based off of your level of thinking. Whereas if we were taught to just be pretty, you just take what you can get at that point.
I honestly have to say, because I never felt pretty growing up, it's just the reality of the situation.
Hard yawn.
No, here's an example.
If you're fishing, you're absolutely gorgeous.
Thank
and
you very
always
much.
possible.
I received that. God is good.
Is it?
Now I would just receive.
all the time. All the time.
And it's so funny because this is what would happen. Me and Lauren would go out when we were younger, and every man, especially every man on the football team, wanted Lauren.
Okay,
No.
We got to reframe this. We lived in Regina, Saskatchewan,
Yes.
Canada.
Okay, wait. No, I'm going to tell it. I'm going to tell it. Let me tell the story. It's my turn. No, it's my turn. What
No.
she's essentially saying is we were the only black girls where we were from.
We
were
were.
the only black
Not-
girls
not
in
just-
every
no, no,
grade,
no, no,
and
no,
a lot
no,
of the
no.
players
Rewind.
came from America.
Yes,
Yes,
that
and
part.
they wanted a black woman.
Also,
Lauren.
freeze. Wait.
Can I just tell my story?
Any other girls who are our skin tone were either from Africa or the Caribbean islands, like they had migrated to Africa. Either they were first generation or the second
Canada.
generation.
They migrated to Canada.
First generation or second generation. So it's a different kind of black, if you will. It's not African American. It'd be like Canadian African and Canadian Caribbean. However, when you are a platinum needle in a haystack and someone has found it, of course you're going to go with the only option.
It wasn't the only option. That's what she's
Lies.
saying, and that's a lie.
Lies.
But thank you.
Lies.
Thank you so much
We
for
weren't
this.
there, so we
Lies.
don't know.
So this is what I'm going to tell you. This was my experience growing up. Everyone wanted
wrong.
Lauren.
Wrong.
When we would go out,
She was me before I was even me.
because I used her ID. That's not the point. When we would go out, right? When we would go out, the guys would literally be circled like a
That
U
is
shape.
not true.
No. Literally, 3 men would be standing right here, and me and Lauren are standing right here. And let's say you're Lauren and you're me, okay? You're Lauren. And the guys would be like, oh my God, you are so beautiful. You are just incredible. You cute too, but like you are just amazing, phenomenal. What do I need to do to get to know? And it's like, yo, did I just get a side-handed compliment? Did I just get a pity? I just got a
What
pity
happened when we
compliment.
went to Rome?
First of all, because my hair was blonde, they thought I was Beyonce because they didn't know any better because they don't know what black people look like.
That is not true.
Listen. This is real life happening here.
Someone, no, Cap. Can we get just Cap over top? Can we mute this part?
Pause.
Cap.
Pause and rewind. Let me finish
All
my
cap.
story. Let me finish my story. So my whole life growing up, until I moved to America, also, we weren't really the standard of beauty back home
No,
because
not at all.
we were black.
Blonde hair, blue eyes was the
That was
standard
the
of
win,
beauty.
right?
Tall,
and
skinny.
we could never be that.
It was
and that's never been us.
Never.
Well, now, I could buy blonde hair. I definitely have it
Oh,
on
me
right
too.
now. Yeah, it's great. But I say that to say that obviously, naturally, that was never a thing. When I moved to America, that's when I started to get attention that I had never even gotten before. And it's because our standard for our beauty is different. You know what I mean? And so then that's when I was like, oh, but it also created more of a like, oh, you guys just want to be the first person to sleep with the Canadian girl. So that kind of kept me safe. And then I got into a relationship and all the things. So anyway, I say all of that to say that only 4% of women identify themselves as beautiful. Only 4%, which is really low. And if you do feel that way, that's great. If you don't, work on it. Do the things. And I honestly feel like one of the simplest ways to feel beautiful, because now I receive it. I feel beautiful because my character is better than any aesthetic that you can see.
I understand that.
Yeah. Like if you keep promises to yourself, it's like, I'm confident. I feel good. I did what I said I was going to do. And every single day, it goes back to those like little days of what can I do today that gets me closer to my goal. And now next thing you know, your confidence is different. It's like you look different to people when your confidence is different. Now you're showing up different. You know, you're dressing a little bit different. You're flipping your hair a little bit different. It's like, oh, I feel good. This feels great. Next thing you know, you look up and it's like, oh, I feel beautiful. So even now, if I have no makeup on, my hair yesterday was brown. Actually, the day before yesterday. No, it was yesterday. My hair yesterday was brown. I switch every week. I do whatever it is that I want to do in that moment. But ultimately, it's not about what's on me. It's what's in me.
Yeah.
And because I know who I am and I love who I am, if you call me beautiful, thank you. If you call me ugly, thank you. If you call me whack, great. If you call me amazing, awesome. Whatever it is doesn't matter because I know me. And I think that should really be more the focus about, you know, pretty privilege is real. It is real. It is real. And there are competitive advantages that other people have. But ultimately, having integrity with yourself, honoring that little boy or little girl inside of yourself, being who you say you're going to be when no one is watching, that is what makes someone attractive.
Yeah.
And that's why some of the most unattractive men and or women can pull some of the most incredible people, because ultimately beauty gets you in the door, but it doesn't keep you there.
Yeah.
Why do you think a lot of these women get ran through? Because beauty got them in the door, but substance didn't keep them there, right? Character didn't keep them there. Yeah, so I always want to play devil's advocate, and I just want to be really clear that if you don't like something, change it. Like, that's literally it. We all have the same opportunities. We all have the same 24 hours in a day. What are you doing with it?
Yeah.
You know?
So about changing that, there's some people that have Android phones and some people that have iPhones.
Yeah.
Would you not date a guy because he has an Android phone? So does he have to change it?
I'm not dating anyone that has I don't know anyone that has an Android.
Joel does. So does Leanne.
That's my brother. They're Canadian. They're weird. I don't know. I can't relate.
So that's a beige. That's a beige flag for you.
Beige flag.
Beige.
That's
I don't know. I can't, like, how do I airdrop you something? How do FaceTime?
I have both. I'm a web developer, so I have both.
But how do you FaceTime someone when we're separate? We're FaceTimers, really.
We are
I just get on FaceTime, so I don't know. But for people that only have Android,
I have questions.
It is frustrating.
It's frustrating.
Are you one-on-one?
No.
Oh.
Does he have Android?
Oh, he was pro Android for years.
Android does have a better operating system.
It's a better system.
For sure.
It is.
No, I was Android and I switched over to Apple. I hate it, but I'm Apple.
All the Android phones he had glitched, broke, whatever.
Experienced.
And I finally told him, have you noticed all of these years none of my iPhones have ever broke? Screen hasn't even cracked.
You
So I got
probably
him
said
to
it
switch
like
to
that too.
iPhone, and now he's a firefighter, so he's gone all the time. So we FaceTime every night.
Yes.
And it's everybody should have an iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like this is discrimination against great men who happen to have Android phones.
Yeah, I don't know them.
Maybe your dream guy has an Android phone.
I just can't see that for me. No, I can't.
What if
really
it's
imagine.
24 karat gold?
Yeah, still. Now it's just heavy. Yeah, your back's gonna hurt. It's just a big, heavy, stupid phone. I don't understand that. I'm definitely an Apple girl.
All right, fellas, give me a close up. Fellas, on your dating profile, list that you have an iPhone.
I'm just saying, it's giving heavy and annoying. Your back's probably
24
gonna
karat.
hurt.
Green bubble?
It's green bubbles.
Green bubbles.
I hate the green bubble.
Green bubble.
Yes,
Green
there's
bubbles
no
and
read
ruin the
receipts.
Yeah, although I never have mine on.
You don't?
No.
Oh, I have mine
No, because I forget.
guessing.
Have you ever read a message and then forgot that you read a message?
All the
And then
time.
days
Oh, yeah.
later, you realize you didn't respond to the message, and now you got to go back and be like, hey,
That's
I
tough.
forgot that I
you
saw the
saw that
message.
yeah.
But if you read it, then they're going to think you just went days with read, and I didn't.
That's tough. That's a tough one.
And
I'm
they
a
do,
squirrel.
they do
Notification
get.
actually tapped down right when I was trying to add to my story, and I didn't want to talk to you at that moment.
Really, though, you got in the way in that
But
moment.
see, that's an advantage for Android owners, right? Because you can
See,
never
you
see
never
if they
know.
read it or not.
Well, just turn your read receipts off, and they won't see it over here either. So Mine aren't on.
Very
Mine are definitely
Y'all know that's
not
going
on.
to go viral, right? There's going to
I
be people
hope so.
angry.
I just can't relate.
Android versus Apple. I can advocate for both because I used to be an Android user up until probably 3 years ago. And I love the operating system. Then I switched over. The only reason I switched over was because I was switching carriers and they had like, hey, you get your iPhone free with the
Good
da da da
deal,
da.
yeah.
And the carrier that we had before, they weren't going to unlock our phone. It was a whole thing. So I was like, fine, just give me the iPhone.
Yeah.
The operating system is better in the Android.
I agree with that.
And the
I
camera
have both,
on the Samsungs
but
also.
the iPhone is built better.
Can I also just say that Android, they lie, because they are the people that said we can take pictures of the moon, and then you find out it's all a fake. It's a facade. If you put a round circle on that side of your room, it's
makes
gonna
it a moon.
imprint the moon.
I want to
with
actually
the
try
camera.
it because
It does.
I just feel like a
They're
lot
liars.
of people put
It
stuff.
does.
Anybody can put anything on the internet.
They're
They are liars.
I would have to do investigative
Frauds.
research for myself.
It's weak.
I don't.
Lame.
I don't trust them.
That's not masculine.
We know.
That's not
Android
It's
equals
giving
bad.
It's giving liars.
Oh my gosh.
Can't do it.
All right. Well, we wanted to end off on a fun note, so that was our fun question of the day. So that's it. That's all we got for the podcast today. Wow, we really hit some really good topics
It's been a
there.
long time.
We didn't get any tears though. That's the only thing we
I
didn't.
thought for sure.
yeah.
We
to be
thought we
honest.
could trigger you, but we didn't quite. We didn't know how the wig thing was going to go.
I
either, so.
liked it.
Okay. Okay.
Welcome
That was very funny.
to the other side.
She
Appreciate
said,
it.
"Welcome to the."
I don't know
Mine's
how
not
to
a
do that,
full wig.
so
I do it all the time.
Welcome.
I do all the things, and that's another thing. Like hair. Who do you need me to be?
That part.
It's like 20 different personalities in one person just by switching your hair.
I love it.
I love
I
it.
change mine all the time.
Yes.
that's how I feel about cars. That's good. Yeah.
Wow.
You do
All right.
feel that way about cars.
So make sure you like and comment below on this episode. We want to hear what everybody thinks of what was said today.
There's a lot. We covered a lot.
Lauren, thank you so much for
Absolutely.
inviting
My pleasure.
Sarah onto the show. Sarah, thank you so much for being here. Huge honor to have you on our podcast. And we hope to have you back.
Yeah.
We also hope to have you be a part of the conference. I'm sure people would love to talk to you there. And we'll talk off camera about that and see if
Yeah.
that's a possibility. But
Okay.
that's it for now. We'll see you in the next episode of The Content Parlor.
Bye.